this race. Kyle Larson, pole sitter, chose the top, and William Byron let him in. You see that left front tire on the 24. Under these cold conditions, very easy to slide the left front tire under braking. You want to do it as little as possible because that tire will create a flat spot and it will find it every time you start braking.
1, 2, 3. Larson, Byron, Briscoe. Hamlin and Gibbs, teammates, fighting it out for the 4th spot.
Yeah, we talked so much last year about the speed in that 54 car. Joe Gibbs racing in general, but Ty Gibbs has had a lot of speed as he's gone through the end of the year. Now just looking to get his season started off right. Was in the LCQ last year, didn't make the race. Now in a great position to be a contender tonight.
Now the 17 is Chris Buescher. He is the first Ford in this race. How long can he hang there and run on the outside trying to gain ground?
Well, these cars have proven, we saw it last year, we've seen it in this LCQ, they can run side by side on this little bull ring.
Yeah, Chris Buescher had a really good car in practice. We saw a lot of speed out of Chris in that 17 car. Christopher Bell, we saw some loose end tendencies when that car would get under braking in the corners. So won't see much of that right now until we get 20 or 30 laps into this race to see what the handling characteristics are. But you see Buescher up on the outside, able to keep himself in contention in that second groove.
Looking on from Christopher Bell.
And right now these guys are being patient. We know that this is going to be a physical race, but you want to have as few enemies as possible as you go through the night. So you want to feel what your car is doing, understand everything that you have going on underneath you, and then you start pushing the issue after you see how your car is handling. So as we see this second restart after we get done with the first 100 laps, it's probably going to be a little more aggressive than what they are right now.
100%. You're seeing them sorted out now. As you saw Buescher get in line there, he was looking for that line, couldn't find it, finally found the hole behind.
And there's the first car double wide, Joey Logano on the outside. He is back racing Carson Hocevar for 11th.
Yeah, right underneath him right there, you see Chase Elliott trying to keep that gap as closed up as possible to not give Joey Logano an opportunity to get down up off the corner and gain that position on the inside lane.
On a track this tight, you have to be careful when you talk about getting down. If that hole's there just because it's there down the straightaway or up off the corner, it condenses things accordion very fast in this little racetrack. That's what stacks them up and causes the wreck.
This track is a quarter-mile around. The smallest track they run on the regular season, Martinsville, Virginia, is twice as big as Bowman Gray.
The preferred line is obviously the bottom groove, and as you see this aerial right here, you see that concrete on the bottom. You see guys have a little bit different strategy, wrapping the curb like you see right against with that left front tire right there. Or do you go up in the middle of the corner a little bit as the tires get older? You see Chase Elliott back there kind of have a small diamond and get a straighter run up off the corner. So you got to take care of the tires and try to keep that car as straight as possible up off the corner. So we'll see what strategy works the best.
And for some of these cars back here that we're watching right here at Bowman, these guys got to start getting in line and getting going. And they're trying to get some positions on because the leaders are going to be coming before you know it, and you'll get yourself mired back in a lap down. That's why it's always pressing on a track this small.
And that's the key for these guys in the back, to be able to get that track position as fast as possible, because right now Kyle Larson is only a straightaway behind the last place car. So lap traffic will play a major role in this after we get 25 or 30 laps into it.
Josh Berry, Daniel Suarez in his new ride, the number 7. They trade a little paint.
And you see the 88 car right there of Connor Zilic, one of our bright new rookies that we have in the Cup Series this year. Dominated in the Grand National Series last year. So it's fun to see a new driver come in with so much hype for Trackhouse Racing.
Without a doubt, this is the car on everybody's radar. We want to see what he's made of, and I think it's a lot.
Of the 38 drivers that tried to qualify for this race, the 2 with new teams this year made the show. And there they are, Zilic.
Right now, Daniel Suarez is in trouble. He's the last car on the racetrack, and he's going to be the first one in Kyle Larson's sights to go a lap down. So 100 laps doesn't sound like a long ways, but we just crossed the line for lap 20, and he's not far from going a lap down.
Kyle Larson has led more laps already tonight, 19, than in his Clash career combined prior to tonight.
Well, it shows you just how fast things can turn in this sport. Last year, Kyle Larson had to qualify his way through the last chance qualifying race. This year on the pole, leading a bunch of laps early on in this race.
Byron 3/4 of a second back. And then that foursome of Toyotas from Joe Gibbs Racing. Briscoe, Gibbs, Hamlin, and Bell. Buescher's Ford, Wallace and Reddick from 23-11, and then Ross Chastain completes the top 10.
Yeah, we have a new compound on the left side of these cars, and that's what you're going to hear us talk about. That has created some more of this fall off. And I think these guys all know that they need to take care of those rear tires to be able to keep their car going on the long run. So seeing everybody be pretty patient right now, but at some point that right rear tire is going to start to go off, and these cars are going to start to slide around.
Clean and green through 24 laps at Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We're going to take you Fox side by side.
Here we go!
The two best teams in the Big East battle it out on Fox Friday Hoops. Third-ranked UConn fights for the top spot in the country against St. John's. That's Friday night, 8 Eastern on Fox. 37 laps complete. Kyle Larson's led them all here at Bowman Gray. Here's a good battle as Ryan Blaney gets past his Penske Ford teammate Joey Logano, with Childress Racing right behind Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch.
Just like I was looking for, it's this 12 car. The car really rolls the center of the corner good with a lot of speed, Kevin.
Yeah, and that's been Ryan Blaney's strong point through the years, is he's able to roll lower longer and get that mid-corner speed. And I think Logano knew as he got in the dirt right there, he's like, man, I am holding this 12 car up. He's not going to do that for anybody else in the field, move over like that. It's not going to be that easy for Austin Dillon to get by, but definitely some teammates working together right there.
There's your biggest movers, led by Alex Bowman. Blaney is on that list. Hosts of our Barry, Cindric, and Preece have gained spots.
Look at that thing roll the middle. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Here the leaders are, and there's the back of the pack.
Yeah.
Now is when it gets interesting, and caution waves. debris in turn number 4 has put us under the first caution of this race. With 160 laps to go and only green flag laps counting, just before race leader Kyle Larson got to the tail end of the field. So the track crew will come out, pick up whatever brought us under caution, and then it'll get interesting because at Bowman Gray, the choose rule makes things really exciting. You like the inside lane here? Well, somebody's going to get brave and roll their way up and try that outside.
Yeah, definitely want to be on the inside. We've seen you be able to protect yourself on the outside a little bit, but we'll see how it all shakes out.
Next week, NASCAR returns to the beach to kick off the season and crown a Daytona 500 champ. The front row for the 500 will be set next Wednesday, February 11th, 8 p.m. on FS1. And a full week of racing caps off with the Daytona 500, February 15th, 2:30 Eastern on Fox. All right, we're going to come to the choose and see how many take the inside before somebody gets brave and ventures to the outside.
Well, it looks like the teammate's going to do the same thing. That could bite them sooner or later with these teammates behind them.
Yeah, because what that does on the bottom lane is it stacks them up, and then those guys behind them start realizing that, so they'll start pushing you into the corner.
Exactly. We've seen that before, haven't we?
And I think right now the top lane, you know, off of turn 2, we've got some of those weepers running down the racetrack, so it's going to be interesting to see the back of the car on those guys in the top lane steps out when they're trying to get in the throttle. So definitely some water running across the racetrack right there that the top lane's going to have to deal with.
Without a doubt, it's a pretty important part. That's where you're asking a lot out of the car, trying to get it pointed and get the throttle down.
They did a great job this week getting the snow off the racing surface and out of the grandstands, but there's still a lot of it piled up between the fence and the grandstands, and thus we have a few weepers that we've dealt with throughout the day.
Well, I think the weather should play in our hand finally. I think it should start freezing back up.
Yes.
And not going to
It's not many times you're going to go to the racetrack and see piles of snow.
You're right.
Next to the retaining wall.
All right, 2 Chevys lead 4 Toyotas and a Ford on this restart. 40 green flag laps complete. 160 to go. Green flag.
Didn't get down. There he goes.
Now, how do those Toyotas get organized to get single file?
Well, right there, Ty Gibbs needs to get into. There he goes, right into that hole. They've got themselves aligned right there. Christopher Bell stuck up on the top.
As they fill those holes, watch this accordion effect and what it does to that bottom lane. Really stacks him up behind him. See, he couldn't get down quite yet there.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin in the 11 filled the spot. Let's have a look at our Toyota top performers. They started in positions 3 through 6, plus 8 and 9. Here's where they're running.
Yeah, and you see that 11 car on the bottom of the racetrack, those first couple laps. The front end will just kind of shove the tires until they get all the way heated back up. But right now, Denny Hamlin is going to be able to put himself in a position to clear Christopher Bell off of turn 2.
I don't think he's getting it. If he is, he's going to be in front of this Ford right here. No.
And what the drivers will do right there, you saw Christopher Bell kind of shade down right there to keep the 17 of Chris Buescher from trying to think that he was going to come down the racetrack and check him up just a little bit. So didn't work out for him, and he was going to lose another spot to the 17.
Again, a prime example of how that can stack them up and work against you if you're not careful. Lost his spot there with the 20.
All right, a look back from the Bob's Discount Furniture cam on board Denny Hamlin at Chris Buescher in 6th place. Here comes Briscoe to the inside, and he wants to break up that pair of Chevys at the front of the field, and does.
And he moved that 24 car out of the way, got himself a right front fender underneath the 24, and was able to make that pass. So we didn't see Chase Briscoe have a lot of strength, what it looked like before, but we don't know how much tire these guys are trying to save. And right here, he's showing that he's got the speed to fire back off.
It's a good point. And if you're Briscoe, Get in front of him and then start backing it back up. But right now, while the grip's in your tires, pounce on the opportunity, and that's exactly what he did.
Here's a look at that pass for second place.
Yeah, you see just a little bit lower right there. You got to get into as low onto that left rear bumper to get him up the racetrack just a little bit to try to make the back of that car wiggle. And he did a great job of putting William Byron in a bad spot right there that he couldn't really recover from it.
And William, the door was cracked. It wasn't open, but he went ahead and blew it open and got the position.
Well, at some point you got to start being aggressive, and if you're going to win this race, you've got to position yourself when you have the opportunities. You can't wait. You have to take those opportunities when you have the chance to pounce on a position like that, because they're going to be harder and harder to come by as the night goes on. And when that 5 car has that clean air right now, not in traffic, you want to keep him in sight.
And Bubba Wallace getting knocked around. He was right out there with his teammate, and around he goes.
Lock her down here, lock her down.
That's the accordion
Left
effect.
front tire, get rolling here. How's your wheel?
He got wrecked from about 2 cars, 3 cars back, didn't he?
Yeah, and that's what we saw in the last chance race too. That wreck usually starts from somebody who didn't like it, got pinched off, and then they shove the guy in the corner, and the wreck happens 2 cars in front of him by getting shoved into somebody else.
He was running with his teammate. Tyler Reddick got kicked up the racetrack, couldn't get back down, and here they all come. All the way back from Ross Chastain into Blaney into Bubba.
And really in that position right there, you'll see what happens. Blaney is just going to check up a little bit early, and the guys behind him have not thought anything about checking up early, so it just stacked them up.
That might even have started as far back as Joey Logano in the 22. Things happen fast at Bowman Gray. The Great American Race returns with back-to-back champ William Byron looking for an historic repeat. It gets no bigger than this, the 68 Daytona 500, February 15th, only on Fox. Here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, 53 laps complete. Kyle Larson, Chase Briscoe, William Byron, who you're looking at there in third place.
Yeah, and we're going to see a different restart this time. Kyle Larson is going to have to pick the bottom of the racetrack. The teamwork is over because Chase Briscoe broke that 1-2 connection of Hendrick Motorsports up. So if I'm Chase Briscoe, I pick the bottom, and I think that forces William Byron to go to the top. So it's going to be interesting to see how that choose. But
you don't cowboy up and go to the outside?
I don't know. I mean,
not yet.
If you can keep him pinned down, you've got a shot.
Austin Dillon went to the pits, came back out. So did Bubba Wallace. He changed a flat tire. You're only allowed to change flat tires, not a change of tires completely until halfway.
Look at here.
Well, let's go to the outside.
We have a cowboy.
Well, a lot of times those spotters up top will say winners choose the front row. So we'll see if it works out.
Last time Kyle Larson went to victory lane in a Cup car, last May at Kansas.
It's dangerous when you put Kyle Larson on the front row of a race, any race.
Well, I know this is an exhibition race, but in all reality, this is really what kicks your season off. And if you can get to victory lane and you can have a good run here, it just gives you a lot of confidence going into the Daytona 500 where we start paying points. So it's important. No matter, they're handing out a trophy, and all these guys want that trophy.
All right, now the first three rows are Chevy, Toyota, Chevy, Toyota, Toyota, Ford.
Yeah,
big
definitely broke up that teammate orchestra that we saw there. Now I think everybody's going to go back racing. Probably for the better, for them and us. It's challenging as a race car driver, trying to help your teammates, trying to do the right thing by them, and then trying to win this race for yourself.
53 laps complete. Caution laps do not count. We're ready to go back to green.
Well, you see Larson spin the tires right there at the end of the front straightaway.
Briscoe sends it in, but cannot draw even with the 5. They almost run out of width of the racetrack.
3 wide back here. Look out.
Still no clear leader. Although they're lined up single file behind, ready to pounce. But neither Larson nor Briscoe will give.
And that's what Briscoe wants right there. He wants to make him shallow up his entry and not be able to finish the exit so that he can get the drive up off the corner.
Yeah, that's right. If you're Briscoe, okay, flip side of that, what's the 5 do? You need to move him up in the middle of the corner. Take this line away from him. Better do it quick.
Well, the positioning has to be correct so that you can slide him up the racetrack with your front tire in front of his front tire. Right now, Kyle Larson can't get position on Chase Briscoe to do that, but that was a good exit right there.
You're going to see him higher. This 5 car moving higher in the corner. Center of the corner there, he's moved up just a little bit, takes that point away from the 19. Now we're prevailing back to the lead.
Briscoe didn't have enough room to drop in line, and here comes Byron trying to steal second.
And you see Briscoe right there. That's exactly what you want to do. You want to try to hit that right front tire fender right there just to keep that car from turning up the racetrack so that you have to do exactly what happened right there. It keeps him from putting the power down. See him pinching him down.
Well, it gets him loose, too, and the rear tires will spin. When he takes that front end away from him, he's taking the exit away, but it spins the tires, then you'll have the spot. But it didn't work this time. Man, that was a lucky down. Thank you, teammate.
Carson Hocevar's moved up to 7th and further split up that group with Buscher 8th and Blaney 9th.
Well, Kyle Larson has led a lot of laps. The only thing that scares me about leading all those laps, Clint, is when you're not in the middle of the pack, not able to see what everybody else's car is doing. When you get to this halfway mark, you see Kyle Larson has the fastest lap there. But is he going to make the right adjustments? But right now, Xfinity's fastest lap is Kyle Larson.
That's not the Kevin Harvick I know. The Kevin Harvick I know is going to tell me I want to be out front, clean air, and save my tires in this race. I
still want to be out front, but I want to be able to go it's hard to make yourself go as fast as you need to go when you're leading the race so easily. But right now we see William Byron right back on the back bumper of that 5 car.
All right, let's go to the 3rd place car and Chase Briscoe's radio.
How do you feel on like your entry speed?
I don't know. When I was like before the first caution, I felt good. And then when I was behind William, I felt really good. And then as soon as I got by him, my car just completely changed.
What happened?
I just started flying around a lot.
Well, that's not abnormal. With these cars, they have a lot of tendency to change how they handle and the things that they do from caution to caution as you get those heat cycles on the tires. So you're going to see that trend continue to happen. But William Byron is all over the back bumper of Kyle Larson.
Not sure when or if he'll make a move. Turn 2, side by side, they have banged and beat bumpers. Ryan Preece and the #1 of Ross Chastain. They've traded that position 3 times and a lot of paint in the process. What's at stake here? Well, very little. 13th place.
All right, look at this car. You see them all stacking up behind them. That means the 5 car is holding his teammate William Byron up. Not rolling the center as good as it needs to be. These cars all drove right to the bumper of the 24 because the 5's holding him up.
And when you know your car is off, like Kyle Larson's car appears to be off right now, you almost slow the pace down a little bit so that you don't leave the bottom of the racetrack. You try to check those guys up a little bit more so that you hit your marks and not let those guys get position. You can let them beat the back bumper off of that car, but just don't give them the position.
Look at the inside.
And contact, as we see from the Valvoline onboard camera of William Byron. He and his Hendrick Chevy teammate Kyle Larson got together, and Byron wants the lead.
It was tight, but he was there. I don't know if his spotter told him clear or inside, but his teammate was there and took the spot.
Clear. After the 5, top lane, 90.
Byron drives away by half a car length. He opened the door. Briscoe follows, and Ty Gibbs wants a piece of this too. In the 54.
And this is really hard when you're in Ty Gibbs' position, trying to keep that gap filled so that Kyle Larson can't get down the racetrack.
This is the fall off we talked about. More horsepower, softer tires, going to have more fall off. More braking, getting in the corners, gets the front tires hot, makes them tighter. This is the gremlins that these guys are all going to fight as we go out throughout this season with this short track package. I love it.
Boy, Denny Hamlin, I thought, was going to make that pass on the outside. A rarity here at Bowman Gray. And now Hocevar wants him.
Larson squeezed the 11 car of Denny Hamlin into the fence. The walls are not straight here. When you get to the end of the back straightaway, you see the curve that kicks out. But Larson actually shoved Denny Hamlin into the fence.
And just like last year, I told you that 12 car rolls his center good. Very fast, already up he's up 5 positions, the biggest gainer, biggest mover of the race so far, the 12 car, Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, and as we're at lap 75 right here, you're really starting to see some of these cars start to fade. And one of those cars that is not fading, like you say, that came out of nowhere really quickly is the 12 of Ryan Blaney. You said he was going to be 3rd or 4th by the time that the break is...
Spinner, turn 4. It's Austin Cindric, and caution waves.
Sorry, good. If you can, they're going to keep coming.
Austin Cindric transferred from the last chance qualifier race, and he was running 20th when he spun coming out of turn number 4 to the infield side. Lapping had just begun. The 3 of Austin Dillon, who missed this race last year, didn't qualify for the future, was determined to avenge that this year and did. And he went 1 lap down prior to the caution. There's the 2 of Cindric.
97 of SVG just got into the back of him and turned him around.
Well, you see the leaders coming. Urgency was in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, you see the 2 car up the racetrack, and the 97 was rolling the bottom, and when they got to the 3/4 mark, that was the end of the road.
Time to go.
New number for Shane Van Gisbergen this year. This was his dad's number, and a number that he carried to, I believe, 80 victories in Australia and New Zealand before coming stateside here to race for Trackhouse.
Well, I apologize now because I'm probably going to call the 88 car several times to be SVG. I'm a slow learner, so right now we've got his name up there, and I'm perfectly clear that the 97 is Shane.
Here's some audio from Van Gisbergen.
It's actually all right, but people just keep running into me, and I got sick of it. Yeah, I mean, it's the 3rd time the 7th got me for nothing. Guess he's excited he's not my teammate. He can hit me now. Yeah, goes both ways.
Yeah, and he's referring to Daniel Suarez, who was his teammate at Trackhouse Racing. So that's what happens when you're not running good, or you are running good and you're getting run into and not happy. You lose patience and you just start handling things.
Well, now the top 10 after the choose is all jumbled up. We've got Chevy, Toyota on the front row, Toyota, Chevy in row 2, Chevy, Ford, and then a pair of Toyotas.
Like when I see out of Hocevar in a 77 car, holding strong right there in the top 5. And Ty Gibbs doing a fantastic job in his 54.
Yeah, Hocevar is definitely the surprise of the bunch. He's steadily worked his way in the right direction. So,
but if you look at this whole group, which one doesn't fit? They're all teams, right? They're all teammates right there. He's the only one, the odd man out. But this Blaney, just like last year, I feel like it's deja vu. Here he comes.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit worried about the 5.
We're in trouble. Taking on water.
A look from the Toyota onboard, Toyota Racing onboard of Christopher Bell, who is 8th on this restart. William Byron brings them around with Chase Briscoe, and we're back to green. 24 laps to halfway. Boy, good drive off for Byron. Briscoe hangs tough on the outside.
Moving him up the track a little bit.
And clear. Hocevar into Larson.
You see everybody's in it. Looks like several cars into the back bumper, but Briscoe able to get back down the racetrack into second right there in front of his teammate, but they're side by side with Hocevar and Larson right behind him.
Blaney wasn't able to get down there with Hocevar and fill that hole. Here comes Denny Hamlin to his inside.
On a quarter mile like this, every restart is an opportunity. And Hocevar almost cleared Larson. Now he does off turn 2. Hocevar to 4th. Larson and Hamlin, who battled for the championship just a couple of months ago.
Yeah, and I promise you, Denny Hamlin's not thrilled with Kyle Larson because of the way that he put him into the fence a few laps ago when he was on the outside. So able to clear Kyle Larson, and here comes Ryan Blaney right with him.
Larson in the outside wall, clipped it pretty hard on the exit of 4.
Bell draws alongside in the 20. Now in 19 laps, they'll throw the caution for halfway and the halftime break.
And that's the unique part about this racetrack. Those walls jet out like that because that's the edge of the grandstands that's basically sticking into the racetrack. So the straightaway walls are not straight.
Look at this pressure by the 19. I'm coming. Here he comes. Moves him up the racetrack, looking to the inside. Let's go.
And it's so wild how these cars have switched when they run good, when they don't run good. But those cycles on the tires and the adjustments that they make with their fans and things inside the car, the driving style. But when these rear tires go off of these cars, it makes them so difficult to drive, but they go off like a light switch.
And I think you're right about those cycles on the tires. If you look at this, the cycles did not play in favor of these Hendrick cars, but somehow, some way it did those Gibbs. Are they cooling them? Are they able to cool the tires off under caution better than the others?
Well, you've got fans inside the car that blow on the brake rotors and things to be able to kind of control some of the temperature differences in the tires with your handling characteristics. You've also got your brake bias in the car that you can control as well. So it looks to me like the rear tires on these Gibbs cars up front right now are better.
You got Carson Hocevar putting a whole lot of yellow wrap against and on William Byron's car. Hocevar not taking any prisoners here as he moves up to 3rd.
And it is a light switch. We saw it with Kyle Larson, and then now we're seeing it with William Byron, and he's stuck up on the top of the racetrack with a car that he is not happy with handling-wise right now. And you have no control of you just have to slow down, Clint. When you get in a position where those tires go off the car like that, it is such a difficult position from a driver's standpoint because at a place like this, there's nowhere to hide.
You're in the way.
You're in the way.
Third place the battle, 2 Chevys in front of a Toyota and a Ford.
And right now, William Byron is just trying to protect everything that he can in these last 8 laps right here before this halfway break.
Crowd him, get him loose on the bottom. That's what he's trying to do.
Oh, Blaney moved the 11 car right behind him up the racetrack, able to get the position on the inside of Denny Hamlin. You see Hamlin try to cut that angle off of the corner to keep him from being able to get that drive. But that 12 car, Clint, is always just so good through that middle third section part of the corner, especially when we get deep into these runs.
7 laps to halfway. And Ty Gibbs making some noise against the back bumper of his teammate Chase Briscoe.
And look, the pressure, you got to take it when you have the opportunity to take it. So if Ty Gibbs can get the lead right here, you want control of this race. So he needs to be very aggressive, which we know he will be, to try to get the lead. You see him give his teammate a big shot right there, get him up the racetrack.
It takes a big shot with these cars. You can't just give them a little love tap. It just helps them. They'll flip you the peace sign and keep going. You have to give them a shot and shove them up the racetrack, almost take the front tires out from underneath of them.
As we watch this battle, Ryan Blaney has moved up to 4th place behind Gibbs, Briscoe, and Byron.
Well, what a great job by Ty Gibbs. We've seen a lot of speed out of this 54 car as we close the season, and it's really just about getting yourself in a position to just get that first win out of the way. So a lot of beating and banging in the back of the pack right here. We heard SVG not happy, but he is not thrilled with
Daniel Suarez. That's the 3rd time I've seen them beat and bang off of one another and shoot them way up the racetrack.
Yeah, that instance was with the 2 car of Austin Cindric.
It started with Suarez.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
That's what made him mad.
As we come to halfway, Kyle Larson, who led early, is about to fall out of the top 10. That's how things are as they drop back here.
And that's the unknown that we talked about with this tire. How much fall off would there be? But when they have fallen off, like I said, it's a light switch, and we see guys just immediately fade to the back.
Halfway sign this time. Ty Gibbs takes the crossed flags and will stay green until the field cycles through here.
Well, the good news for William Byron is he protected himself enough to keep himself in that 3rd position. Didn't slide near as bad as his teammate Kyle Larson.
And the caution waves for halfway. Ty Gibbs, Chase Briscoe, William Byron, Ryan Blaney, and Hocevar, the top 5 and halfway in the clash.
Welcome back to the clash at Bowman Gray. Josh Sims alongside the Daytona 500 champion, Jamie McMurray. We have reached the halfway point of the main event. Ty Gibbs in that 54 car right now, your leader. Well, we saw a lot of action out there. So, Jamie, what were your initial thoughts on what we saw so far in those first 100 laps?
Yeah, pretty clean racing. I think that was expected for what we saw here last year. The guy that I have my eye on is Ryan Blaney. He started back in 16th, and we've seen him drive up into the top 5. These next couple of restarts, I think, are going to play a huge role in the outcome of this, but Blaney seems to have a great car.
Let's check out the recap of the day to see how we got to this point right now. Of course, we know that storm cleared out and we had cars on track, and it was Kyle Larson, the defending champ, getting the pole earlier on today.
Yeah, Larson was surprised by that. Faded here in this first segment. You see right here the LCQ, what a battle we had. You see Barry going by Allmendinger for the lead, and then he checked out, and these guys had a heck of a battle coming to the checker.
It was a great battle, and of course Austin Cindric and Josh Berry were the ones from that last chance qualifier that found their way into the main event. And of course Alex Bowman was the other driver due to the driver provisional. To the main event we go, and from the beginning it was Kyle Larson as the strongest one.
Yeah, both Hendrick cars right there in the front. See a little bit of bumper tag, and the one thing we've seen at this race, shorter tracks, is it's not necessarily the guy that gets hit, it's 4 or 5 cars back. You see Cindric, some of these guys are getting frustrated with each other. We heard Shane Van Gisbergen had his frustration, but what about Ty Gibbs going for the lead, getting by his teammate Chase Briscoe?
Yeah, big move there. Of course, an important season for Ty Gibbs. He is the one in the lead with 100 laps into the books. So what are your thoughts on him being able to hold off Briscoe, who's also been very strong in this event?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the tires firing off after a caution. Some guys have done better than others at that. The Gibbs cars seem to be really good on the long run. But again, I like Blaney just because of how deep he started in the pack, the history, what he did here last year, the fact that he's already up there. Cautions are going to play a huge role in this. In the restarts, we saw Larson get stuck on the outside. People just won't be as friendly when we get to the last 100 laps, Josh.
Well, speaking of someone who is always friendly, let's check in with Regan and Larry Mack down in the pits, starting with Regan.
Well, Josh, thank you. And as you'll see behind me right now, a little bit different look from what we normally get with pit stops. These cars, of course, have the brake. They can come in here. They can make all of the normal changes that they would make on a regular pit stop. The difference is this is not the over-the-wall crews. These are the pit crews that would normally service these cars throughout the course of the weekend. The guys that would come in and do the 8-second pit stops, they are home. They will not show up until Daytona next week because of how Bowman Gray is set up. Right now, showing a shot right here of Ty Gibbs' car. Very happy with his car. It's been handling well, just a little bit on the tight side. His teammate behind him, as you'll see, Chase Briscoe's lined up right behind him. Similar situation, not a lot of complaints, but generally speaking, the one thing that I keep hearing on these radios as we got further into the run was loose, loose, loose. They cannot get the power down, struggling with that. Even if the car was tighter early in the run, Larry Mack, they ended up loose by the end of it. What are you going to do as my crew chief down there to help me out if that's happening?
Well, Regan, I've said ever since I stepped off the pit box, I do not envy some of the decisions these crew chiefs have to make, because think about it, a 200-lap race, this is it. This is the only opportunity you get to adjust on this race car. Jamie McMurray keeps talking about Ryan Blaney in the 12. I talked to his crew. They do have a little bit of damage here down near the front splitter that they've been working on. It looks like they may make a slight wedge adjustment just to try to help him get that drive off the corner. But to the point Jamie McMurray's making, Josh, Ryan Blaney very happy with his 12 car.
All right, thanks a lot, Larry Mack. And I know you talked a lot about Blaney already and what he's been able to do in the past, what he's doing tonight. The one thing I do notice is that
it's raining.
I don't want to talk about that. There's some precipitation.
Well, it's either raining or freezing rain or maybe snow, as cold as it is. It feels significantly colder than when we got out here, but this could add a whole new element to this, especially if it stays just light like this, Josh, because there's be such a threshold of where the grip is on the track with these cold temps. So, yeah, that'd make me nervous as a driver for sure.
All right, well, we've got 100 laps in the books right now. Ty Gibbs is your leader in the clash at Bowman Gray. Action from the second half of this race coming up.
Welcome back to the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Bowman Gray was a president of R.J. Reynolds, and when he passed, his estate donated 30% of the cost to build this stadium. The state picked up the 70%, but they named it for him. And they've been playing football and racing here ever since. That was 1937. This is 2026, and we've got NASCAR Cup cars on track. Now, in the first half of this race, the biggest movers forward, Josh Berry +8, Ryan Preece +9, and Ryan Blaney +12 positions.
Let's see if we can find it. Hey, Ryan Blaney, it's Boy and the Boys up in the Fox booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, buddy, I come with good news. Last year we were here about this time. We started last, and we were up to 10th. This year, we started 16th, and we're already up to 4th. We're doing a lot better. What we got for a hot rod?
Well, I appreciate that. Doing a little better. Yeah, I think you said it. We got a pretty good hot rod. Menards Great Lake Ford Mustangs. It's pretty good, and seems to last a little bit longer than most, and just about, you know, see what we can do when we kind of restart here. But I hope Bubba isn't too mad at me. I tried to relay the message I got pushed, but yeah, it's been a fun night so far. Hopefully we can keep it going.
Well, tell me what you've got figured out. Obviously, your car looks really good on the long runs, as you just said, but it really rolls the middle good, and you can put the throttle down well, make all these passes.
Yeah, just, I mean, really good race car. 12 boys have given me a really good piece, and makes it a little bit easier when when my car can kind of do what I want it to do. So hopefully, you know, we're just as competitive and can put together another solid 100 laps and see what we got. Give these fans a hell of a finish.
I like it. Good luck out there. Thanks.
Thank you.
Ryan Blaney currently 4th. Now, not everyone is as happy and satisfied with the way they've been raced as Ryan Blaney. Here is the radio on Daniel Suarez's new ride.
Aquí, go tell the spotter of the 23. If he does that one more time when I kick it. On the 97, I'm coming for him.
Copy. Will do.
All right, so that was the 23, Bubba Wallace, and the 97.
Yeah,
we've got a list.
Yeah, Suarez, he can be a bit of a curmudgeon as he gets underneath and puts that helmet on. So you see Bubba not happy with him right there, gives him a little bit of a brake check, slams into the door.
Yep.
Tough in the back of the field tonight.
Have we ever seen that at the Madhouse before?
Oh,
every Saturday night.
Just a normal activity.
We got some pretty good precip coming down now, guys.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
Get out your leaf blower then, all right? Here's what Bubba Wallace had to say.
Hey. I know, but you're running into me for no reason. He's running into everybody for no reason if you haven't paid it.
You know, your spotter is kind of, I don't know, he's a coach. He's there to encourage you, but is he there to further provoke you toward what's going to happen next?
Oh, absolutely. Some of those spotters up there have definitely put themselves in a position to provoke the drivers along. So there's two different personalities and approaches to that.
I know you didn't want to hear it, Mike, but I'm looking out at these lights and these fans covering up. This is quite a bit more precip than we've had. The good news is we do have wet tires. Are we going to see them?
Well, that's the question here, and NASCAR will, if NASCAR makes that call and declares this a wet weather race, the teams will return to the pits and they'll put on the treaded tires. Now, from what we've seen, NASCAR's response to this situation, normally they don't do it when it's actually raining, but of course that's not raining.
How about sleet?
No, that's sleet. Oh my gosh. But they will use the wet weather tires, they don't call them rain tires, to dry the track faster once the precip stops.
Larry, I know you're on here. How do those things do in the sleet?
Well, I don't know that we've ever tested them in the sleet, but just remember this, whether we run them in the sleet or in the wet, it changes the handling of the race car. It's the same compound all the way around. It basically has zero stagger. These tires have well over an inch of stagger. That means the right sides are bigger than the left, so they have to go around these tight corners, but the wet weather tires, no stagger whatsoever.
So when we did this at North Wilkesboro for my first time and had to put the wet weather tires on, we learned a lot about the difference between no stagger, rain tires. They actually drive really good, but you definitely have to make some big swings at the adjustment of the car in order to get it to turn correctly.
You're going to see them. You see that shine on that racetrack in front of in the headlights of the pace car right here. When you have a sheen like that, it's time to start thinking about where they're at.
Yeah.
So they are going to bring the cars to pit road. NASCAR has its own meteorological team. They say that this is brief. It's going to last about 10 minutes. And they'll make the call whether or not to mount those wet weather tires right there. This is what, Clint, a narrow band of rain, sleet activity?
For sure. Looking at the radar right here, it's just a very, very narrow band. Got a pretty dark color tint to it, though.
Well, with all the snow we've seen, and believe me, this amount of snow, it's not unprecedented, but it's been more than 20 years since the Triad has had as much snow as we've had here over the last 10 days. You see, that's just a very brief cell. It's going to pass on through here, so, you know, stick around and we'll get back to it to run the final 100 laps of this race. Leaf blower, hell, I'm going for my shovel, you know, and the plow.
I'm so tired of hearing wintry mix,
yeah,
whatever that is.
I know.
Let's go to Florida.
I'd just put the wet weather tires on and let's go.
I agree.
The two phrases I don't want to hear ever again are out of an abundance of caution and wintry mix.
I know it.
Because here it is. These fans, boy, they've been tested. But when I arrived here, it was about 20 minutes before the gates opened, and there was a line of fans waiting to get in and get their favorite seats to see the clash.
Well, it looks like, obviously, with the size of that cell, I'm assuming that they're going to try to just wait this out and keep the wet weather tires at bay for now and try to dry the track up. Won't take long. Obviously, this track being as small as it is, that is the good thing here. The positive in this is it doesn't take long to dry.
Do you plow it, blow it, or just wait for it to evaporate?
I'm tired of waiting. I want it done. Whatever we do, just do it.
I like using those big race cars with warm pieces on there to put those tires on and just get them out on the racetrack.
Well, I mean, we do have them, right?
Well, and the thing about the wet weather tires is they're really good. They have more grip than you would think they should. And
surprisingly good.
At a racetrack like this, that groove is gonna dry pretty quick if this stops. So I think the biggest question that you have right now, if it does stop, how far will those tires go? But we've run them a long ways in drying conditions and had some great racing on them. So
there they are.
I'm a fan of just put them on and let's go.
They've got a lot of equipment here from Martinsville, from Talladega, I think even as far away as Pocono, as far as track drying equipment. One thing they can't do is run those jet dryers and put heat up near that outside wall, because that will melt the snowpack that's behind that wall, and we'll have weepers onto the racetrack.
This is a good point. We only have 25 miles to go, for crying out loud.
Let's check with Regan.
Well, Mike, you guys are talking about with the wet weather tires, and if they were back here within the garage area, and I can tell you that as soon as they lifted the red flag and the cars pulled back on the racetrack, we all looked towards the sky and saw the same thing. Obviously, there is precipitation falling, some sleet, some rain, as you guys have already said. But these rain tires behind me, it was like a swarm of people with rain tires coming running from the garage area and bringing the tires out here towards this pit road section that we have set up. So all the cars you'll see right now do have the rain tires ready. The crew guys and the tire guys in particular, we're airing them up, getting them ready, getting them to the pressures that they want to have them on, and everybody is standing around the race cars back here right now, and they are devising plans. They're coming up with what they want to adjust, what they want to do when they do finally, if they do finally put these rain tires on.
So discussions underway back in the pit area as we await the decision of NASCAR calling it a wet weather race or not. Now, when Regan was out in Denver driving for Furniture Row, he mounted skis on top of the race car, got in his fire suit, and off he went. This was Richmond, Virginia, 1989. The Cup race was snowed out and delayed a week. 1993 in Atlanta. I remember Alan Kulwicki with his helmet on for warmth, working under the hood of his car as we got snowed out. Las Vegas, well, Gregson's hometown. How about it, Regan?
Mike, I can tell you, with Furniture Row Racing out in Colorado when I was with them, we did film a part of a movie, actually, is what that was for. And you saw the skis on top of the race car. We did have some snow tires on the car as well. I can promise you it did not handle good. If we get that amount of snow and we have to put these cars out here, it'll be a handful. But it was certainly a lot of fun. And the one little secret about that video I never try to tell anybody about is I did throw that race car in the ditch later on in the day. I felt really bad about it, and it was extra slippery though. It was snowing too hard.
Hey Regan, I'm seeing some work being done here. I think they're putting them babies on.
It does sound, Clint, like the tires are going on. As you can see, the wet weather tires, all these teams are jacking the cars up right now, and they will be getting these tires on, and whatever adjustments they can do with these tires, they'll be doing them right now, and I'm excited. I think this is going to be fun.
So NASCAR has declared it a wet weather race. That means the teams are obligated to put these Goodyear Eagles on at all 4 corners. Now, this is not just for riding around under caution. They will race on these tires until the track is dry, at which point NASCAR will again throw a caution to bring everybody in and put them back on slicks.
And these are the perfect conditions for these tires. Really light rain. I know we've got some sleet, but the cars are tough. And I think it's great that we're just going to put them on there and go, because having driven these tires before in the rain, sometimes when that groove will dry, it'll actually run faster than it will with the slick tires. So this is a great Goodyear tire, plenty of grip, and these are perfect light rain conditions that these tires are built for.
So Larry, I have 2 questions. 1, what adjustments will be made? And 2, do any of these cars have defrosters to keep these windshields clear?
Now, unfortunately, if we're not on a road course, the only thing we really have is you've got the wet weather package. We don't run the windshield wiper or any of that. They do have the defogger, Mike, but they don't have the windshield wiper, the running lights, the lights underneath the rear bumper. It's not like a road course. But adjustments, I talked to Paul Wolf, crew chief of Joe Logano. He said we have to get very aggressive with adjustments. You have to free the car up. Once again, because the point we were talking about, no stagger. And we're going from over an inch of stagger to 0 stagger. He said we'll take wedge out, we make air pressure adjustments. But one thing he did tell me, wherever they tested these, the drive off is really good. A lot better forward bite than the dry slick.
Yeah, and that's great information, Larry, and that is 100% correct. Having been in the car before with these tires on, the drive off is really good. Now, they know a lot more than when I drove these cars on the wet weather tires. Now that they've run them so many times, they'll have an exact guesstimation of how much of the balance that they need to change to get these cars to turn. The unique part about what's going to happen is these cars they're going to move all over the racetrack in order to find out where the most grip is on this particular racetrack.
But I think the important thing is exactly what you just said, the guesstimation. Yes, they have a good guesstimation, but it's going to play in the favor of some teams more than others. Somebody's going to prevail and somebody's not. I think one that, again, we're following along with this Blaney and how much ground he's been able to cover. Is that going to affect it?
I think all that's out the window.
I do too.
I think that you're going to see some people that don't hit it correctly with their balance. You're going to see some people that aren't really comfortable in these conditions. I was never comfortable in these conditions because I just hadn't driven on these tires a lot. A lot of these younger kids have raced a lot of cars in the rain. You look at, Connor Zillage, he's been in Europe in go-karts. He's been in Trans Am cars. You look at a lot of these guys that have a lot of experience that have driven these cars in the rain. And there's definitely a split as to the guys that are good at it and the guys that are not.
When you take the stagger out of these cars, they don't like it. They do not want to rotate the middle of the corner. The drive will be there because of that, in my opinion. Both of those tires are the same size, but they don't want to turn.
Yeah, and you look at somebody like SVG, who's got a ton of experience with rain and wet weather stuff like we're getting ready to do. But I can't tell you, it's not a downpour. This is the absolute perfect condition for these tires. So I'm really excited that they're putting these tires on. I know that this is a light rainstorm and seems kind of inconvenient, but I'm not so sure that the race isn't going to be better.
Now, the focal length on these lenses makes it look like it is sleeting and raining much harder than it is, just due to the depth of field that they have. This is a light mix of sleet and rain, and hopefully it's almost over. I got to give these fans credit and give our Fox crew credit. Our folks have been here for 11 days trying to get this race run, and those that are outside in the camera positions and in the pits, a hardy bunch. And even though we rarely get snow here in Winston-Salem, maybe an inch or two every 2 years, they're ready and they're prepared for it.
And it's even a tougher time these 11 days because the restaurants, all the facilities, everything's been closed. Nowhere to go, nothing to do.
Coldest NASCAR races of all time. Yes, this will make the list of NASCAR's National Series. There are a number of tracks running races called the Icebreaker, but usually not until mid-February or early March.
Well,
can we even trust Daytona, though? When I look down there, we got iguanas dead everywhere.
Well, I'm looking forward to going to Daytona because it most likely will be warmer.
I just want to go somewhere else. If I'm going to be froze, just try something else.
Were you at that 64 Bowman Gray race, Mike?
Pardon me?
Were you at that 1964
You're going to go ahead and do that?
No,
you're going to do that, too?
I was up watching modifieds and sports cars up in New England. I was not here. I was 14.
He was cold, though.
Yeah.
Well, here's the coldest one. I was there, 1990 in Richmond. Everybody was frozen. Mark Martin had that little coffee percolator running just fine. 31 degrees, didn't bother him. That's Steve Burns with him in Victory Lane. And here they come.
All right. Unknowns are fun, aren't they?
Well, and I can't stress enough how perfect this amount of rain, this size of racetrack, and this rain tire are. I mean, they might all go in there and drive straight into the wall. I might be wrong, but everything that I've experienced, this is the perfect condition for these tires.
So where will they find the limit of grip? On the entrance to turn 1.
Trial and error, Mike.
Once they wave the green flag. Ty Gibbs is your race leader. Last year, he failed to advance to the Clash from the last chance qualifier. But in 2024, this young man led the most laps in the Clash at the LA Coliseum, but he was involved in a late wreck. Did not make it to Victory Lane.
I don't know, would just having 100 laps, if we have enough time, you can take them off. You know it's Sleet. Look at it bouncing off the hood of Ty Gibbs' car right there. But back to the point, it's going to happen pretty fast without a ton of cautions or some havoc right here. I think you probably will see these tires lasting to the end of the race.
Well, and this just totally mixes everything up, right? Like we can't tell you who's going to be the best. We can speculate on, you know, SVG having rain experience. I think Ty Gibbs is really good in the rain. We've seen Chase Briscoe, you know, in the Grand National Series drive through monsoons at Charlotte Motor Speedway and win in the rain there. Hocevar is one of those guys that you never know.
He's from Michigan. He's used to this weather.
But he's going to push it.
Yeah. All right, here's some William Byron audio.
Hey, what thumbs up, thumbs down when you cross start finish line? I mean, I don't know. It all depends on the spray, I guess, but sure, a little bit of moisture's, I don't know how different than a lot.
Now, when you drive home from the track tonight, you're going to drive like there's an egg between your foot and the accelerator pedal to maintain traction. That is not the job here. It's anything but.
Yeah, and you heard him mention the spray. That's the only thing that limits us on what we can do in the rain. We can drive in a monsoon. We can drive in light rain. We can do all those things. The only thing that limits the safety side of what we're getting ready to do is if the spray is so crazy that you can't see.
Yeah, it's a vision thing. It's not a grip thing. These tires, we've covered it. You've said it enough. I've watched it. These things have a surprising amount of grip for these drivers.
Now on Saturday nights here, the modifieds, the late models, the stadium stocks, they have bump and runs. They have cars that get sent all the way across the infield grass, taking out all that beautiful lettering. We haven't seen that yet tonight. I think we might.
I would like to see them just speed things up a little bit here with a parade lap and give them a feel for the grip. Again, that sleet needs to blow off the windshields. Going back to your vision, we don't have windshield wipers on these cars. They weren't prepared for that like we would see at a road course or something like that. So let's get these things moving and see what we got.
And a lot of times when you get in, I never liked the windshield wiper. I never used the windshield wiper on the Cup car. I always liked just a clean sheet of Rain-X.
Because it made it worse.
Yeah, the windshield wiper made it worse. If they, hopefully most of these guys just rubbed a clean, tore a tear off and just went a nice layer of Rain-X on the window and it'll just roll right off.
Totally agree. You would get tire rubber on it, some oil, some grease from the rear ends and stuff on your windshield, and you just smear and make it worse with your vision.
But the longer you wait, the less, the worse it gets. So.
I think some speed on the windshield of these things will help their vision a little bit.
You see on the upper right corner the evidence of the tear-offs, those little triangles. Thanks, that help indicate where to pull and give the driver a clean vision. Now, you have limited opportunities to do that. I've only seen like 2 or 3 on most of these cars.
When I was driving, we heard Byron question about, you know, thumbs up, thumbs down, not talking about the spray. When I got put into these positions and they started talking about rain tires, everything I voted for was never do it. The track's never good enough, so there's going to be a lot of politicking from the guys that are good at it, not good at it, comfortable in it, not comfortable in it. So it'll be interesting to see what we do right here.
Now, from our booth, I'm looking down at turn 1, and there is a decided difference between the bottom 2 lanes of the racetrack where you run and the upper 2 lanes to the wall, which look almost mirror smooth and have standing water out there, right where the 45 is venturing now. Now, tonight on Fox, an all-new episode of The Masked Singer, celebrating America's 250th birthday, followed by an all-new episode of Fear Factor, House of Fear. That all starts tonight after racing, right here on Fox.
So the one thing I'm standing here thinking about is, you know, when we talk about the spray, what will the spray difference be at these low speeds? You go to a lot of places like Watkins Glen, New Hampshire, some of the places that we run these rain tires, and you see a lot of speed right there. Is it different here going slower?
All right, here's Denny Hamlin's radio.
For me, I'm just thinking that a good chance to try to learn something, get better at this. I mean, nothing to lose here.
I like that, and that, I mean,
I agree.
Great approach. It's easy for us to stand behind this glass and say, yeah, well, I'm all for it. It looks great. The grip's going to be good, yada, yada, yada. We need these guys. I wish they'd pick the pace up a little bit and give them a feel for not only the grip, but see if it blows some of that water off their windshields and gives them good vision.
No indication yet from NASCAR as to when we might get back to racing here as sleet continues to fall. We're 102 laps complete, so this would be a complete race if we're not able to resume. But I think everybody here, certainly everybody who's bought a ticket, everybody who's been here for 11 days waiting to get this done, wants to see what's going to happen next.
Well, the storm is almost by us, so you know, I believe that just a little bit of stalling here is for that. But when that passes, I mean, this track is still going to be wet.
But back to Denny's point, we do this so we can learn a little bit here. What can we get away with? We haven't seen this on a short track like this. I remember back to Dakota. We were there in the spray. You were in it like it was bad. Let's hear this.
Now, Chase Elliott, he's from Georgia, where they don't hardly get any snow. How's he feel about this?
It really is fine, though. I mean, if they want to try it, I think it's safe. Oh, serious. We carry these things around all year. Why don't you try it?
All right, let's check with Larry Mack.
Well, Mike, I'm with James Small, crew chief of Chase Briscoe. James, you were mighty good on the dry slicks, but it appears all that's out the window.
Yeah, it definitely is. We've got, what do we got? Sleet, snow, hail, all in one here right now. So it's interesting. I think looking at the radar, it's almost through. So I guess we're just going to ride around here under caution maybe. But yeah, it looks pretty, looks like an ice rink out there right now.
I know we've not picked up any speed. Has Chase commented possibly about the vision issue?
The biggest issue right now is the glare, you know, with the slick track and the lights. That's more of the thing rather than, you know, we're not really getting much spray around here right now. But, you know, I think it's fine this end. He's struggling a little more up that end.
Well, Mike, I've been in it 46 years, and just when you think you've seen it all, something else rears its head.
Here we are, Larry Mack, 26 years in. And yes, I would say this is a first for NASCAR on Fox. The football field that includes a racetrack. The athletic department in Winston-Salem State there off to the right between turns 3 and 4. What's Kyle Larson have to say?
Great. Ice accumulation, which is kind of cool, so let's give it a try.
Send it.
Well, I think this is what you're hearing is all these guys know that the cars are capable of doing what they need to do in these conditions. And, you know, it's definitely, it's not a heavy rain. And I know that the track looks really wet and slick, but I think that, I could be wrong, but I think that it would be fine.
Well, that's a lot of experience. You got champion there, Chase Elliott a champion, Denny Hamlin, a lot of all the years of experience with him. They're all saying go for it.
Denny Hamlin's on board. Not quite covered with sleet there.
Right at 35 degrees, wind chill though. I think I look over, it's 29. That's sleet level.
It's not getting warmer.
Definitely sleet, Kevin.
It's not getting warmer, that's for sure.
I want to give a shout out to Denny Hamlin's new sponsor there. That car with nose colors, certainly you can't miss it on the racetrack. They run their commercials in our market and on Fox, and every one of their commercials, the race car drives in at the end. And I love that, because that is the kind of activation we need if we're going to grow this sport back to the 2005, 2006 levels, is consumer-facing companies that are advertising and promoting their participation in our sport, and these folks are doing a great job of it. All right, the cars will return to the pits, and that is so that the track drying equipment can come out and try to remove standing water. It's okay to run on a wet surface, but standing water, well, that creates a level between the asphalt and the tire where all you're going to do is slide. That's not good. Clint, don't have a come apart. Please.
Well, I'm confused.
Okay.
Oh, Clint's confused here, Kev. I do know standing water. If there's going to be spray, it's going to be because of standing water.
Yeah, I don't think the speeds are high enough to really have a lot of spray.
Well, there's only one way to find out. Those three drivers wanted to find out.
And look how much that sweeper truck is picking up as it comes down the front straightaway and rolls off toward turn number 1. There is plenty of standing water. We get that up off the track, and I'm no expert, and I think we can race. We want to give you a look at Race for the Seat. It's a reality racing competition where short track drivers battle for the chance to drive for Ram in the 2026 NASCAR Truck Series. Let's have a look.
This competition is about character, about fortitude, and about the old-fashioned giving a. Are you here to fight and win for colleague, win for Ram, and change your lives forever?
Go get that money, boy!
This is all I've ever wanted to do since I was a kid.
There's no friends on the racetrack.
Oh, we got a spin!
If you want to make friends, go to summer camp.
Oh, we missed it! Oh, they're landing each other! Oh, 3 wide! 3 wide!
This is everything. It's do or die.
An all-new episode of Ram Race for the Seat premieres Friday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Kind of reminds me of the old Roush Racing Gong show that they used to do, right?
Yeah, I've watched all the episodes so far, and it's pretty interesting to see all the things that they put him through with all the challenges and on track, and
they were going for it. They were pushing for that opportunity.
You know, a lot of those guys don't have the opportunity any other way than what Ram has presented right there for those guys to showcase who they are. So it's fun to watch.
I think it's a great way for them to make a splash. Their first year back in the Truck Series. They're going to run a fleet of trucks through College Racing, and one of them is going to go to the winner of that shootout.
Yeah, and we're going to start the first race in Daytona next week with one of our past Cup champions, Tony Stewart, behind the wheel of one of those Ram trucks.
Kevin, explain this to me. You keep telling me you got the experience in these tires in this car. What are we doing here? Are we going to run these tires and see what happens, or are we going to
a lot of
wait,
times,
dry the track, and put the other ones back?
No, I think a lot of times what they do is they'll just blow that top layer of water off that you see, and Mike was talking about that, you know, kind of that standing water, and then they turn them loose. Okay.
Yeah, you don't want them to all go in turn 1 and hydroplane into the wall.
No.
Okay, so this will address that. 4 jet dryers, 1 sweeper. Out there trying to clean things off enough that we can get cars back on track. Regan.
Well, Mike, I got Randall Burnett, crew chief for Connor Zilic, of course, rookie driver Connor Zilic, but one of those drivers that the booth was talking about just a little while ago that has a lot of experience in the rain, whether it's Trans Am, go-karts, all kinds of stuff. So does this maybe play to your hand just a little bit? Up to 12th already right now from starting 19th.
Yeah, we've made some good progress here. Connor's done a great job tonight, being patient, kind of working his way through there. And, you know, he's just learning this place. I think this is the first time he's ever saw it. So the rain might fall into our hands here. We'll see how it goes. It's kind of lightening up now, so we'll just see how it goes. It'll probably be really slick on the bottom with, you know, a lot of rubber down there now. So we'll have to see what happens.
What else do you tell him? Do you tell him anything? Because this is kind of a new zone for all of us right now when it comes to Bowman Gray and this stadium racing.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously this place is tricky in the dry, and now we're going to put, you know, rain tires or snow tires or whatever you want to call them at this point. It's kind of sleeting, whatever, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm sure the fans will really enjoy it. Be nice to get it over with. It's freezing out here.
It is cold down here, guys, but I'm looking forward to seeing what Connor can do. Of course, all those wins last year in the series before the Cup Series here, so can't wait to see what he's capable of doing here in a minute. Larry?
Yeah, Regan, I'm here with Cliff Daniels, and Cliff and I walked up and said, what do you think? You said, let's go, man, let's go.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we've got the rain tires on, we're ready to go. I think it was like 3 pace laps ago, Larson said, hey, man, let's just send it. So now that we have a little bit of accumulation of ice, that'd be a new thing for us in NASCAR, so let's give it a try.
Well, we're going to be on wet weather here's Cliff, and you guys jumped out there after sitting on the pole and led 67 laps. What kind of happened in the second half of that first run?
I think part of what made us so good early is we could just turn so well. And ultimately, as the run went along, we just got the right rear built up too much. We're just too loose. So made a few adjustments there for the dry, and now it's raining and icing. So we'll see what that does. But we've had a couple data points of running in the wet, you know, Richmond and North Horseburg a few years ago. So we have a little bit of an idea of the adjustments to make. But ultimately, a different track and just kind of a different environment with the temps being so cold that that'll be a little bit of an X factor here too. But it's going to be fun to watch. Hopefully our car's good enough. I know Kyle's he's going to have fun wheeling that thing.
I know one thing is vision, and Kevin and Clint were talking in the booth. They're not sure the speeds would ever get high enough that would cause an issue. Has Kyle commented about that at all?
Yeah, I mean, that was certainly an issue, if I remember correctly, maybe old car at COTA a handful of years ago, where visibility was a big issue. I don't know that car speeds would be high enough to just have that much spray. Kyle talked about on the radio with us that he was kind of hoping we get going, and he thought it would, you know, all just kind of settle into a spot where you'd get a groove worked in, that it wouldn't spray that bad. So now that they're blowing the track, I would imagine that's certainly going to help it. And yeah, it'd be fun to go race and just see what this, you know, this environment brings us.
I think that's a general consensus from a lot of drivers and crew chiefs. Let's go, man. Let's get after it.
Yeah, I agree, Larry, and I'm not seeing any more standing water on the racetrack, so they're doing a good job of addressing this as the teams work on windshields and air pressures. I guess there was some talk down there about sending crew chiefs out to the parking lot to get the wipers off of their street cars to put on the race car. You can't do that, but would be nice.
Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, we need this answered. Can we do this? And this is, if we get it too dry, we're never going to know, Kevin.
I'm just telling you, you know, from experience, it's easily doable, and that's why you hear all the confidence from the drivers and the crew chief who do this stuff all the time. They're confident with the tire that Goodyear has and our wet weather package. Yeah, our biggest hindrance is always the spray, and I don't believe the speeds are going to be high enough to worry about that.
No, I agree. We had a big issue with spray at COTA a couple of years ago, and it did bring some changes about because of that. But yes, with the low speeds, shouldn't be too much of a problem. John Probst was just over here from NASCAR, and he said, we're going to do this. We just need to get the track in a little bit better shape, have a little less water on the racetrack, and we'll be ready to go.
And from, you know, NASCAR's position, I mean, it's definitely when you do something new, it's hard to kind of step out on that limb a little further than you've been before. But this is the perfect race to find out when you don't have any points on the line. You're here for the show, and a lot of confident drivers and crew chiefs that it'll be no problem.
Engines have fired, and here they come. We're going to try this again. Ty Gibbs is your leader. Did not make it into the final here last year. Led all those laps at the LA Coliseum. Got taken out in a late crash. So this will be his second really good opportunity to score in the Clash.
Well, he's done a good job tonight of putting himself in a position to lead this race. Obviously, the circumstances now have changed, and I know the field is going to be split on who's comfortable with this. I feel like Ty does a really good job on the road courses, and I've seen him, run really well in the wet. So, and just like his teammate right behind him, right? We've seen Chase Briscoe win a race in a monsoon before, at the road course at the Roval. So. It's always going to be split. There's always going to be some politics on the radio from the guys who aren't comfortable with it. And I was in that category. I never wanted to do it. And then I did it, and I was like, oh, that's not that bad.
If we've got conditions that we don't know what's going to happen, that's exactly where I want to be, those first two cars. I want to be the first one to it and get away from them. I do not want to be side by side and mired in traffic.
And I think I want somebody with some dirt track experience. Because sliding around, here you go.
Well, I'm glad you said that. That's exactly what you don't want to do in the rain. You want to keep your tires rolling. Had an old road course guy tell me that a long time ago. Keep the tires rolling. Do not slide a tire left or right or a wheel or anything. Keep them things rolling and a gradual momentum underneath of you. We ran it one time at the Roval, and I had a blast there. It was some of the most fun racing I ever had.
I didn't. I was in the category of not having fun with the rain tires.
Fix your attitude.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, we're going to come to the choose in a couple of laps and line them up for a double file restart.
It looks like, it's hard to tell in here because our glass got pretty wet. I think pretty much looking in the lights, it's all but done.
I think you're right.
Maybe not.
Well, it's like I said earlier. I'm still standing behind what I said earlier in this light rain with everything that we know about the cars so far, and I think that's why you hear all the confidence in the drivers. So the interesting part is what we talked about earlier, that normal groove of the racetrack doesn't have a glare on it. The upper half of the racetrack looks slick just from the way that the lights are shining on it. But with the lights here and the glare that they were talking about earlier, it's really a little bit hard to tell exactly what the surface is actually going to do with the way that the light is hitting it.
I don't think you want to be in those upper two lanes, Kevin, because that area is slick. The asphalt doesn't have much tooth to it, and that's really what's going to give these tires whatever traction they're going to have. I think you're going to be on the bottom of the racetrack.
I agree with you. It never got run in. It never got rubber burnt into it. If anything's clean on this racetrack, it's that bottom groove the best, and the second one after it.
The one interesting thing that I saw during some of those warm-up laps was the 5 car had half his car in the grass below those drains, like he was thinking about running the right side tires on the concrete. The concrete is going to have the most grip.
Well, you said the grass.
Well, at least the rights will be on it.
These are wet weather. Ain't mud tires.
Boys.
Careful, Larson.
1 to go.
Rain racing is all about being creative. Diamond in the corner, running odd grooves, finding the grip on the racetrack. It's going to be interesting to see who finds that first, because somebody's going to hit on it, and then the track is going to start to dry. So it's about to be exciting.
Right here on the start. Do not spin these tires.
All right, 99 laps to go. Ty Gibbs, Chase Briscoe, 2 Toyotas ahead of Byron's Chevrolet and Blaney's Ford. Green flag.
Here we go. 54 sliding up.
And around the outside comes Briscoe.
All the way up on the outside of the track. He went to the outside, Kevin. Exactly what you were talking about.
Hamlin slides into the 5, and around he goes. Denny Hamlin ran out of grip, slid into Kyle Larson, who spins along with Kyle Busch. Did we complete a lap? I don't think so. Rain, rain, go away in Winston-Salem. All right, welcome back to the Clash. They're going to choose this time. The biggest challenge in racing in the rain is where is the grip and how much is there?
Well, that's exactly right. In road course racing, they tell you when it's raining, get out of that groove, wherever those tires were. And Kevin, it's kind of what we saw some of these veteran road racers in the rain. Where'd they go?
Yeah, well, they went straight to the top. We were questioning if it was slick, but we saw SVG go all the way against the wall around the corners. And I think that the reason that plays comes into effect is you get out of the rubber.
All right, here's a look at it. What put us under caution here? Denny Hamlin gets loose, spins around into the 5, and then it's on.
Denny Hamlin got help from Connor behind him. Connor Zilic in that 88 car. But if you look right here, look at SVG already going way to the outside, just like you were talking about, Kevin. Immediately went straight to that outside.
Yeah, and I don't think you want to be in the middle of the racetrack in all that rubber. And you saw Chase Briscoe take the lead on the top of the racetrack.
You had me sold on these cars having a little bit more grip than I'm seeing here, Kev.
I mean, they've got plenty of grip. They just have to learn exactly where the grip is on the racetrack, and they're doing it on the fly. They're not going to be like full throttle.
All right, let's find out. Briscoe on the outside, Gibbs on the inside. We're ready to restart.
From the 77.
Hocevar to the inside. 3 wide.
Oh, he clipped that drain on the bottom, got loose. This is where I'm talking about. Keep these tires rolling. Do not be careful on the brakes and careful on that throttle.
Yeah, and as we run right here, you know, and the rain starts to let up like it has a little bit. If they're all running the same groove, that groove will start to get cleaner, less water on it, as they move that water out of the preferred line.
And they're adapting. They're getting it figured out quick, aren't they?
Zilic to 5th. big scrum in the back, as you see here.
Yeah, we were worried about that top groove, but they're definitely making ground up on the top side of the racetrack.
Uh-oh, 3 wide. Lean, and we're going to be okay.
And you see the middle is just no man's land.
Look out.
The middle is no man's land because you've got all 4 tires in that rubber, Clint.
Reese and Reddick got together there. Here comes Bell and Dillon.
Dillon into the wall. Very easy on your inputs. Your steering. Do not spike any throttle, brakes, anything.
95 laps to go here in Winston-Salem. Coming up next, a new episode of The Masked Singer, celebrating America's 250th birthday, followed by an all-new episode of Fear Factor: House of Fear. That's all coming up after the race here on Fox. Single file through the first 10 positions.
I tell you one this is what I have my eye on, Blaney. The fastest car on the racetrack, the first 100, put these tires on, we're in trouble. Going to the back in a hurry, all the way back to 12th from 4th. Who's filled that spot? Connor Zilic right here in this 88. A lot of experience on road course racing in wet weather conditions.
And look what's happened to the groove as they run single file to turn 3. They're no longer at the bottom of the racetrack where all the rubber was laid down. They're looking for tooth and trying to find any grip they can, and most of it seems to be up in that 3rd groove.
Yeah, and a lot of this will be visual as the racetrack starts to change and the water starts to get pushed off and you start to see some dry spots on the racetrack with the cars going around. Then you're going to be able to start using a little more throttle to get the car to get up off the corner, to get it to rotate in the middle of the corner. That'll be the hardest part right now, is actually just getting the car to turn through the middle of the corner, and then how hard can you put the throttle down on the exit without spinning those rear tires.
You were right though, Kevin. The one thing that I am seeing is not a lot of vision problems. They can see, not a lot of spray behind these race cars. So far so good. They're figuring it out.
And they're racing with respect, which is kind of new for Bowman Gray. In the weekly racing series, we don't see much of this.
Well, you got your hands full racing yourself right now. A lot of grip level issues.
That is William Byron's onboard camera on the right, the Valvoline cam. Ty Gibbs just ahead.
Well, and there's a drastic difference from the cars in the front to the cars in the back, and what's going to happen here, you know, they're catching them 3/4 of a second a lap. Lap traffic is definitely going to be just what we had in the dry, just in a much different lane as we are in the wet.
And I'm glad you said that. That's going to be the difficult thing. As that leader, Chase Briscoe, catches the back of the pack, where's he going to go? It's become single file around the outside of the racetrack.
A little contact there as Austin Dillon makes some ground on Ryan Blaney, using the inside with the number 3. Whoa! Bubba Wallace in the wall.
3 cars started up in front of him.
And I think that's the way you're going to have to pass. You're going to have to use that right side door of the racetrack, because that middle lane, like we talked about, is really, really greasy and not the place that you want to be.
Nice kill.
Not at all what my man Ryan Blaney wanted to see here. This bunch right here, battle for second, led by Gibbs, is heating up. You guys are really starting to figure this out, getting some grip level in their race cars. I'm sure the track conditions are probably getting a little bit better. Some heat in those tires are helping.
Yeah, and I think that right now the 24 car is better than the 54. He's able to get in the corner a little bit harder. It looks like he can get his car rotated, where Ty can't get in the corner as hard because it doesn't look like his car is turning in. But you can see just a little bit wider for the 24 getting in the corner compared to the 54. It just gives him a little bit better angle. But as you see this racetrack right here, Clint, you can start to see where the groove is in the racetrack, where they're getting all that water cleaned off the track.
And that's why the speeds are picking up in a big way.
And I promise you, in 77 years of NASCAR racing at this racetrack, this is a racing line that has never been used.
And another thing, exactly right. Another thing that's going to happen here is you do not want to get out of that groove. You get out of that groove and shoot across the bottom, it's going to be a sheet of ice.
Yeah, and we've seen this 3 car look like he's making his way through the field, but he's been very aggressive with the bumper and the right side of the car.
Josh Berry got into the wall, and he is looking to exit. He has stopped.
Caution down now.
And we're under caution.
I think he's got right front damage.
He got in the wall, I believe, up at turn 4.
His front wheels are not cooperating. There's a seat. Got a tie rod in broke or something on the front of the car.
Oh, he hit the wall.
Yeah, but he hit it a lot harder right here.
Yeah, he hit the wall in the front straightaway, and as we talked about in practice today, you hit the wall and it shoots you back off down the end of the groove and makes the car loose.
So that's turn 3. Hard hit there. And then again at turn 4. So we're under caution for the 6th time in the clash of Bowman Grange. Neither rain nor sleet nor dead of night shall keep not the mailman, but these racers from their appointed rounds. 119 complete, 81 green flag laps to go in the clash of 26. That's the big one. Ryan Preece going around along with Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson. Larson just got the free pass. He's back on the lead lap. Kyle Busch has gone to the pits for repairs, expected to return.
Well, the thing I like about what we saw, sure, we had the caution there at the beginning when they ran into each other and spun out. But that's why these guys are the best drivers in the world. I mean, they figured things out so quickly with all the information that they had. They moved up the racetrack, they got in rhythm and figured it out. And on the fly. Not like we had a practice session, but that's why these drivers are some of the best drivers in the world.
No, Clint, they got it figured out in the essence of go down there in turn 1, send it in and see if it sticks.
Yeah, but to Kevin's point, they are the best drivers in the world, and adaptation is what it's all about. These guys are the best at that. That's why they're in that seat.
So there's the choose, and look now, everybody, a lot of people taking the outside.
And they don't practice this. No. Like, you don't go, like you see some other racing series across the world that you go practice in the rain. The only time that these guys get to practice in the rain are under race conditions, whether it's on a road course, you know, on an oval, whatever it is, this is the only learning that they get on the range. So this is great experience, not only for the drivers and the teams to get some information, but also for NASCAR to see, okay, well, that spray wasn't that bad. It's still light rain, and we're out here on the racetrack doing it.
The caution came out for Josh Berry, who is back in the pit area. Larry?
Yeah, I talked to James Small, Chase Briscoe's crew chief, and said, what is he saying? He said, I'm just riding around, mate. It's all good.
All right, Josh Berry is back. So is Kyle Busch. And so is Ross Chastain. So I believe everybody is on the lead lap as we get set to go for 81 to go. Briscoe, Gibbs, Byron, Hocevar, Zilich are the top 5 as we go back to green. Wide.
Man, once that thing does slip, it's just like driving on ice. And around here, like we've done the last 10 days around here, once it starts sliding, you're in trouble.
Yeah, once you get that thing sliding, it's like it shears the tires, and just you can feel the car just like you would on your road car as it would hydroplane across the racetrack and when it loses grip.
Zilich, the blue car on the inside, he is making some ground in that bottom groove. Up challenging now for 5th side by side with Chase Elliott. Going to give up that spot.
It's
and turn 4, they're all piled up. Blaney is there, Wallace. Berry wasn't part of it. He kind of got there late.
Definitely shorter around going back to Connor Zilich like you were talking about, Mike. But man, he looks like he's crawling down there, Kevin.
Yeah, and I don't think it's better down there. I don't think there was a hole up top.
He was running the left sides down on the concrete and maybe a little in the grass to try to get through the corner.
And you know, typically that concrete is going to have more grip than anything else on the racetrack. See a left front flat right there on Austin Cindric's car.
Josh Berry will get the free pass. See what happened up there in the 4th corner.
Now you see Bowman got loose and then got into the side of him and cut that left front tire down.
Austin Cindric and Bubba Wallace have gone to the pits.
Very edgy getting underneath somebody down and then, you know, not that preferred groove when you shoot across the bottom, trying to keep that car underneath of you, keep it straight and still make the corner. Boy, big difference this made for that car. Wow.
All right, we'll re-rack them and try again to finish the clash of Bowman Gray. testing the limits of the madhouse.
Well, it's pretty much par for what cars look like around the Winston-Salem area. I live here. No, that's pretty much what we had all weekend.
I agree.
Just like that.
And on a lot of the two-lane roads that face the north and don't get the sun, it's still very much like that.
I got passed by a Honda Civic on 40 the other day, and I've said a prayer for him, and boy, it didn't work out in his favor about a half mile up the road.
Wound up in the ditch.
My man had the front fascia knocked off of it. His torch was definitely off.
All right, we're coming to the choose. Briscoe and Gibbs. 2 Toyotas. Then 6 Chevrolets, and then Joey Logano's Ford. Now Gibbs chose the outside behind Briscoe. That will move Hocevar up to the front row on the inside. Let's have a look at the progressive race summary before we go back to green. Chase Briscoe, the most recent of 4 leaders, 6 lead changes, 22 cars on the lead lap. Josh Berry a lap down. 7 caution flags. We'll get 1 to go this time.
Wow, what a difference. I mean, look at these 2 cars right here, these teammates. They weren't even sniffing the top 10. Both of those guys with the experience they have.
Well, and give Suarez a shout out there. Yep. He's in 6th. He was nowhere in sight, and all of a sudden the rain came, and those 3 cars have found their way to the front.
Yeah,
so.
he was in a fight with half the field.
And that's
happy.
That's typical in a wet weather road race too. You see guys that go backwards that are good in the dry, and field flips when it gets wet.
Now a call out to Kyle Busch. He was at the back of the pack, but because he chose the inside, he's going to restart in the 7th row. We'll see how that works out. Hocevar inside of Briscoe, and we're back to green.
Oh, he's going to take the top.
Comes the top. 3 wide behind him. 4 wide. That can't work here.
Hey, talk about sending it. He's sent it. Hocevar drove it off into the corner. He knew it wasn't going to turn and took the position. Drove in hard enough.
Reddick got roughed up there in that 4 wide, lost a few spots. William Byron just did a Hail Melon around the wall in turns 1 and 2, and it worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah, you talk about Hocevar up front, and you look at all these guys, William Byron right there, bouncing off the wall. You're going to have to take some chances on those situations to make those passes, and it worked out for Hocevar that time, but there is definitely an art to finishing the pass.
I will say Hocevar's been good all night. This isn't just because of the wet weather conditions. He was extremely fast running in the top 5 prior to this.
Well, now he's got control of the race, right? So he made that pass, daring pass on Chase Briscoe, and now you're seeing him put a little bit of distance.
Let's show you what it looked like from the Valvoline onboard as William Byron made that run down into turn 1.
Still rolling it. We'll catch your back straight. Still inside. Corner clear. Back in line. Half off.
Listen to that throttle. Just barely on.
Yeah, and you want to keep the RPMs low.
Now, we talked about Kyle Busch moving up the inside to gain position. He restarted 13th. He's 14th. That worked out pretty well for him. He gained about 6 or 7 spots by taking the choose.
Going back to that in car, though, did you hear him roll out of the gas? He didn't just spike. That's what I mean by spiking your inputs. With the wheel, with the throttle, with the brakes. Just be very smooth with it.
Fellas, speeds have picked up since this restart. They are not gingerly rolling off into the corner like they were the first time we tried this.
Conditions are getting a lot better, Mike. I think this outside line is really buffering in, and it takes me back to the move that Hocevar made. Timing is everything, and getting control of this race before that groove kind of goes to a rubber dirt track. When that track rubbers up, it's 1 lane, and it's a race to get it to the point first, and that's exactly what he did. Oh, Gibbs is around. Nope, we got it straightened up. We're not done yet.
We're going to stay green.
Still green. How about that?
Outside.
No caution. Boy, a lot of bumper tag. They're still 3 wide into the corner. And everybody's going to make it out.
They crashed and fixed it.
But you see that 97 car right there. We talked about Shane Van Gisbergen and his experience in these types of situations. Let's see what happened with Ty Gibbs and Chase Elliott. You see the wheels go to the right like he got loose getting in the corner, but we've talked about that middle groove and how hard it is to make that pass. It's just so greasy in the middle groove right there.
When was the last time you saw somebody get all that sideways and around and end up coming out of the corner in second place?
Well, the 9 car, it got into him and turned him around, but as soon as he straightened him back up, kept him going too. That was going to be the end of Gibbs's day. He'd have gone to the back of this freight train and got saved there. Great battle for the lead here. Briscoe's running back down.
Yeah, and I think, look, Hocevar did what he had to do, kind of ran Briscoe up the racetrack, and I think you're going to see Briscoe probably do the same thing, right? Like if you get an opportunity, you're going to have to be aggressive and return the favor.
Well, still 32 laps to go when they come past the start-finish line. Briscoe just keeping close tabs on Hocevar.
And there's the tail end of the field. Cindric won't be long, and they're going to be in them. That's what's going to separate who wins this race and not.
Well, and
we get mired into this traffic, it becomes a lot different animal.
And what you're starting to see is a lot of these guys have enough grip in the middle of this corner to be able to start to diamond and turn that car back down.
As around goes Ryan Blaney, coming out at turn number 2, grabs a gear, keeps on going. No caution.
Right in front of the leaders here.
So
Blaney's got work to do here to stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, and as we get to, they're all in the groove that the leaders are running. So you're going to have to start getting creative. As you see Austin Cindric get out of that, you can see the line that has the less glaze to it is the preferred lane where they're all running right now. And if you get above that, that last 2 or 3 feet is still slick with water standing on it.
3 wide coming off turn number 4. That's a battle for third. Van Gisbergen and Gibbs side by side trading a lot of paint.
Yeah, it's getting rough.
Van Gisbergen went for the slide job on Gibbs, slid him up, moved him into the racetrack, kind of put him into the wall, but unfortunately, that's how you're going to have to make these passes. Here comes Gibbs back to the inside,
yeah,
repaying that favor.
Gave him another shot to, like you say, repay that favor.
And that is for 5th place. Ryan Preece has passed them, and now they're stacked up at the trouble spot, turns 3 and 4.
Briscoe's around Hocevar. I don't know if it's official. Obviously, they checked up because of Denny around sideways. Caution is out for sure. But my question is, did he get him past?
Yeah, how do you score this? Did he actually stop? And
we'll wait for NASCAR to make a ruling here. Here are the leaders.
And they wrecked right in front of him, so you're going to see them start checking up.
Yeah,
I think a caution is out, so Hocevar will be back in the lead.
Be good.
Correct. Yeah. At the time of caution, Hocevar was the leader, and he stopped to avoid contact and damage.
Okay, Kevin, if you're Hocevar, much like we saw on that last restart with Briscoe, you're going to take the outside, you're going to take the inside on this.
I think I'm still sticking with the outside. I think that if Briscoe could do that restart again, I think he drives into the corner a little bit harder.
Or maybe he gets a little better, different jump or something like that.
I still think that if that move doesn't work for Hocevar, I mean, you could cost yourself 2 or 3 spots, but you see him right now. They're going down to the bottom of the racetrack to cool those tires back off in places that have more water than where they have been running. So there'll still be water. You see the shine where the water is right there. So they'll go to where that water is standing a little heavier to get that water on those rain tires to try to cool them back off.
The center of turns 3 and 4 has been the trouble spot tonight. That's where most of the cautions have taken place, is trying to transition between the entry of 3 and getting on the throttle and pointed out of turn 4. That's where we're seeing the pilots.
Definitely a lot slicker down in 3 and 4 than it is in 1 and 2.
And we still have a long ways to go. I mean, we still have 61 laps left in this race. And the thing that I liked about what was happening right there while they were running was the fact that you could start to see the car was handling a little bit better each lap. And when they were able to start getting that grip in the middle of the corner to get that car pointed down the hill, that's when the opportunities start to happen to pass easier.
Carson Hocevar from Portage, Michigan.
Look at here.
Known as a rather aggressive driver among you probably stack him in the top 5 on the aggression meter of all the Cup drivers, but he wants to win, and he wants to do tonight what Jeff Gordon and Denny Hamlin have done. Gordon in '94, Hamlin in 2006, and that's win the Clash prior to getting their first Cup Series victory.
Now this track is going to pick up grip. We just saw the lights, no more precip in the air. we're going to go one more lap before they choose here. But what I'm getting at is the pace is going to pick up, the grip level is going to go up in these tires, and back to my point on a dirt track, when those things rubber up, it's a race to the front first. Has to happen soon if you're Briscoe.
Yeah, and maybe Larry can help us on this, but I'm not so sure that the rain tires might not be a little bit harder than what we actually are racing this weekend at Bowman Gray with what these tires are. But the only reason that I say that is when this track dries with these rain tires on here possibly being a little bit harder compact, it'll be interesting to see what they can do as the racetrack dries.
It's kind of an interesting deal, Kevin, because as I said at the top of the show a long time ago, this left side tire, the wet, the dry, it's the softest tire that we've ever raced anywhere. But as I said, these wet weather tires, they're all the same compound. They are very soft, but they're not quite as soft as that left side. It's softer than the right side, but not as soft as the left side. So it's somewhat in between.
62 laps to go. Thanks, Larry. Osabar has elected the outside. That has been the groove in these wet weather conditions.
And if you're Briscoe, right, like you know how he lost the lead.
Yeah. Well, my point, going back to this precipitation, they've almost picked up a second from where they started on these tires when it was really wet outside. So the grip level's coming up, and it's only going to get better for these cars. So the preferred groove is going to be more important.
I'm watching the 8 of Kyle Busch has done it again. He's gone up the inside. You know, Junior Miller style, one of the old modified racers here that did it a lot and took the not preferred groove. He's up to 9th now. Ha. Let's see how this plays out. Osabar Chevrolet, Briscoe's Toyota on the front row, back to green.
Spun the tires just a little bit. 19 gets into him on the outside.
Gave him a little bit of a shot in the door right there.
Oh, he got in the corner hard.
Gets a little tap, comes out with the lead. Ah, no. Briscoe into him again as they enter turn 1.
And
three wide, and around goes Dillon.
I promise you that aggression from Briscoe is because of how he got past before. So we've got one around.
Yeah, that's Austin Dillon in turn 2 as they come to the caution flag. Kevin, tell me about that paint job.
Yeah, that's a great throwback scheme right there. We ran that GM Goodwrench paint scheme that Austin's gotten on the side of his car from about 2003 to 2006, so pretty cool.
Aggression is definitely picking up. Watch SVG on the bottom, Suarez, Gibbs. These guys are going at it. The haymakers are coming.
Under caution once again at lap 139. From Bob's camera, run for Denny Hamlin. Oh, that's how it looked. Welcome back to the Cookout Clash, NASCAR's preseason exhibition race in snowy Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Now coming up next on Fox, an all-new episode of The Masked Singer, followed by an all-new episode of Fear Factor. after racing here on Fox. Michigan's Carson Hocevar, he knows how to race in the snow. He is your leader from Chase Briscoe from Indiana, Shane Van Gisbergen from Down Under, Daniel Suarez from Monterrey, Mexico, Ty Gibbs, Ryan Preece, Connor Zilich, William Byron, Kyle Busch, and Chase Elliott, last year's winner, are your top 10.
Well, that shoes worked out pretty good for Kyle Busch. He's all the way up to ninth. So, guy who snuck in there on me is Ryan Preece there in 6th. But SVG in that 97 car, he's been aggressive.
That's my guy right there. That's my guy.
61 to go. Green flag laps only count, and the race must end under the green flag. Could be challenging in these conditions. The track is not really drying. I don't see any dry asphalt, despite the laps that we've been running here, but the lap times keep coming down, speeds keep going up each time we restart. Larry Mack?
Yeah, Mike, because we know these cars are a 5-speed sequential shifter, and you restart in first and you run second to race. Talk to James Small, that's what they're doing. But he said, we feel like Carson Hocevar is going to third in that 77 car.
Kevin, we used to do that back in the day. If you had grip level issues, especially, you know, on old wore out tires, what would you do?
Yeah, you try to lug the thing around.
That's right. Put her in a taller gear, keep it from spinning the tire so much. But that will also let it free spool, if you will, getting into the corner, making it tighter. You're not using the engine to slow yourself down. As this track gains grip because of the rain not happening, I bet you they're going back. You'll see speeds pick up, and it'll be because they probably can go back down into that grip and rip gear.
All right, Briscoe chose the outside behind Hocevar. That moves Van Gisbergen up to the front row.
Look at this. SVG, that's experience. Never slipped a tire. Hocevar did, to the point. Here he comes. There he goes.
Gibbs trying to get by for second. Preece moving up. Side by side with Briscoe for 4th, and then Suarez with Zilich.
If you ask me, that was a gear difference.
Well,
that 77 spun the tires in a big way, and SVG didn't slip a wheel.
Preece sent it in there to go for 3rd in that number 60.
Yeah, and that's
from Roush Fenway Kozlowski.
See him super aggressive, using the right side of the car.
And away he goes. Nice move.
Yeah, that was pretty aggressive.
Well, Ryan Preece has been going to the front, and same thing as SVG, Carson Hocevar, Ryan Preece. All those guys, they want to get to victory lane. Obviously, Shane has been into victory lane on a road course, but on an oval, I know it's in the wet.
Turn 4. Around goes last year's winner, Chase Elliott, off the front bumper of another car, and caution waves.
I want to go back to what you said there, Kevin, with Ryan Preece, and I agree with you. Aggression is happening, and because they're hungry. But 8 tires better than 4 approach usually gets you some wreck sooner or later.
Absolutely, I would agree, but I don't think they, at this point, they just want to put themselves in a position to win. But I think when you look at our leader, as we see, the car's pretty dirty there. That one's been in the mud, been in the rain, been in the wall.
Yeah, he went around from contact.
Yeah.
58 to go.
When we talk about our leader, Shane Van Gisbergen, and all the things, let's see what happened here first.
Watch for the number 9.
Yeah, it looks like that was off the front bumper of the 22. Doesn't take much in these conditions to get somebody out of the shape. Yep,
there it is.
And it's real easy, to get in the corner just a little bit too hard, slide the tire just a little bit, and the cars are so on edge that it just doesn't take much to turn them around right now.
And one car sideways in the wrong place here can block the whole race.
That's right. I want to talk a little bit about Shane. You talk about that wheel spin on the restarts. Everything that we talk about with Shane and the things that he does really well on the road courses, it's always about his roll speed through the middle of the corner, how he uses the brakes and controls the brake pedal, uses that heel toe method to control the braking and everything that's happening with the car. So when we see what we have here today, that is exactly what is giving him the advantage to be able to do the things that he's done. He's been super aggressive. You can see the fenders beat in on every corner of this car, but that is what he is good at, the braking, that roll speed that you talked about, just getting that tire loaded, getting that car rolling through the corner, and his control of being able to roll that car further around the corner to make that throttle a little bit later in the corner, not give up speed, but not spin the tires.
Yeah, on that launch for the restart, he never slipped a tire. Hocevar unfortunately spun, and I mean, it looked like he was going 15 mile an hour faster.
Now this will be interesting. We come to the choose this time because Van Gisbergen will likely take the top. That's the groove right now in these wet conditions. If Priest takes the bottom, he has not been the least bit reluctant to roll into the corner and use the car outside him for balance to get through the corner. We'll see contact.
Well, the good news for him,
and that's what we're going to get.
The car in front of him and behind him have been doing the same thing. So it looks to be fair game.
Regan?
Well, Mike, plenty for Ryan Priest to worry about on this restart, but something else that he was also told under the previous caution to start saving fuel when he can. This is something I'm starting to see a little more concern down in the pits about, is the fuel in these cars to get through the end of this race.
Okay. Priest is from Berlin, Connecticut. They get a lot of snow and winter mix up there. He's used to this.
I saw him doing donuts in his driveway in his pickup truck this week, too.
Yeah.
Saw that out of a few of these guys, having fun out in the snow.
One to go. Priest inside Van Gisbergen. Ty Gibbs and Hocevar in row 2 looking to capitalize. Zilich and Briscoe. Suarez and Kyle Busch just keeps moving forward on the outside this time. Then Byron and Buscher complete the top 10. Green flag. 58 to go.
There he is.
Lean. There it is. Yep. No surprise. How about here?
He's leaning on him again. I think you're going to see.
Clear. All clear.
Oh, Logano is tied up there with Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott, and we're under caution with a new leader, Ryan Priest.
Yeah, I can't stress enough, that's the hazard about leaning on people like that. As these cautions keep coming out behind you, it enables that guy to repay that favor.
Seems it's always turn 3. Oh, Logano was sideways going in. Not sure if it was from contact, but there's plenty of it there to go around.
Yeah, it's hard to tell right there if the 5 was into the back or if he just lost it. But either way, he turned around and got nailed by a couple cars.
That hit hard enough on Denny's. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I was going to say that right front damage on the 11. He's off the racetrack. That was a TKO knockout punch for him.
And look at the number of career wins. Of course, Van Gisbergen's all on road courses.
I was going to say, yeah.
Now, this would not count, this being an exhibition race. Would not add to that total, but this is the 11th caution of the night.
But guys, did you have Ryan Priest on your radar for this scenario?
No.
He's the one in his top 5. Well, in all fairness, Hocevar is too. But I did have SVG as my point. Priest leading this charge right now is pretty impressive.
Well, he's done a great job. Snuck up on us, creeping his way into the top 5 or 6 right there, and then steadily has just put himself in control of this race as the leader. So he's been aggressive, but most everybody's been aggressive.
He's been a bulldog.
Yeah.
Every pass he's made, it's been.
If you want to win this race, though, you're going to have to be a bulldog.
It's effective. I don't mind it. It's working.
Ryan Priest has a bunch of laps here in modifieds. Of course, he came from the modifieds in New England, where he was the Whelen Tour champion.
But like you said earlier, he doesn't have any laps up in that groove.
No, nobody does until tonight. All right, we'll come to the choose this time. 57 to go. See if we can get back in a rhythm and log some laps here. If we can just get past turn 3. So roles are reversed. Van Gisbergen inside, Priest outside. Let's see if favors are returned, rolling off into turn 1 this time.
And we saw Shane take the lead the exact same way that Ryan took the lead. So you know, I think that's where the pass is going to be made, and when you have the opportunity, you have to take advantage of it in this scenario. So you just got to get a good launch and get yourself into that first corner, which, in my opinion, is sometimes easier as the car that's not the control car, when you can kind of roll up on them to get those rear tires going instead of just accelerating all at once.
I'm glad you said that, and one thing that I picked up on SVG's last restart is he rolled them pretty fast. It tells me he's in that taller gear. You don't want to, because that thing doesn't want to pull out of the hole as much. When you're in a taller gear like that, he rolled it pretty fast, keeping the tire slip to a minimum.
Pace car is off. Starter has the green flag in hand. Out of 4, Preece a half car length ahead, and we're back to green. Late green flag. And they're dead even into turn 1, leaning on each other.
Push him clear up out of the groove.
Well, that seems to be the trend on these restarts, to be able to get yourself in a position to do that.
Can Gibbs come with him here?
Everybody makes it out of 3 and 4 this time. Zilich to the inside. He gets into Gibbs. Around goes Ty Gibbs.
And Hocevar right front. A lot of right front damage on the 77.
And Kyle Busch into Gibbs as well. Buscher is stacked up there. So is Tyler Reddick. So was Christopher Bell.
That's a shame. Hocevar had such a good night going, doing everything right, running in the top 5 all night, both conditions, dry and wet.
Now coming up after the break. Welcome back to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The clash at Bowman Gray. Sleet, rain after a week of snow, and this is what we're faced with. 56 laps to go, and getting ready for yet another restart. Shane Van Gisbergen, Carson Hocevar, Ryan Preece up at the front.
Yeah, right.
Cindric just got the free pass, so he'll come all the way around and tag the back of the field.
Yeah, and right now, you know, I think that they've figured out where to run on the racetrack. They know the grip levels. They know everything. They're running over each other a lot, Mike.
Well, they are, and the design of this racetrack, remember, this wasn't built to be a racetrack. It was built as a football stadium. And they took the running track around the football field and made it a racetrack in 1938. But the stadium was built, and that jut out in turn number 4 has caused a problem for drivers ever since. And tonight it causes a problem for everybody in the middle of turn 3 and 4, trying to point themselves in the right direction to get off the corner without hitting that wall. And we've had a lot of carnage up there.
It has definitely been the problem into the racetrack down there in 3 and 4.
Van Gisbergen makes a late choice to the bottom. Preece up top this time. See how this works.
Well, it's a battle of attrition. And in motorsports and anything I've ever raced, adaptation is just like what you were talking about. You got to be able to adapt to the conditions. They're not always perfect.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I hate perfect conditions. This is a little bit wild right here, but I like watching these guys adapt and seeing who can overcome these wild circumstances.
One to go. Connor Zilic up in the second row now with Briscoe. Daniel Suarez with William Byron. Row 3. And after spinning earlier and going a lap down, Kyle Larson now up to the 4th row. Alongside Bubba Wallace, who also had trouble early. Ryan Blaney's back in the mix. He's in row 5. There with Alex Bowman. Kind of feel like if you're in it, you can win it.
Absolutely.
Why not? And we're back under green.
SVG chose the bottom right there. He'd had enough of being used up. That inside groove on the restart has become the preferred lane to put yourself in, to just kind of lean on the guy on the outside and be able to drive off on the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, using him to make a corner, right?
So Preece is second, Briscoe third. So it's challenging on the outside. Suarez inside. Suarez in the 7, his new ride for this year.
Yeah, and that's his old ride that he's moved up out of the way.
If these guys can ever get this sorted out and get back single file and get laps run, I still think this 19 of Briscoe is our fastest car.
Briscoe has gained right back up to the 2 leaders. They have distanced themselves from the rest of the field.
Yeah, and when that groove goes up the racetrack like it has, it just makes the passing way harder. So these guys have resorted to just getting more physical with each other and using the right doors. So,
well, it entices you. It opens that door up for that slide job, if you will, shooting the bottom and just using them up.
Oh, here's Bubba Wallace, the 23, right behind Suarez. And you know what they say about paybacks.
I've lost track of the paybacks.
The interesting thing that has happened as you look at the way that these guys are approaching the corner, as you see the 24 slide up the racetrack right there in front of the 88 car of Zilic.
And trouble for Larson. He got off pace coming out of turn number 2, now picks it back up again, but he's lost about 8-9 spots.
Yeah, but he's kept it rolling, no caution.
Barely running.
Barely running.
You're making a run to us.
We stay green with 50 to go. Larson's going to try to get off the track, but he can't do it before the leaders get there. See what happens here at turn 3. He has no choice but to stop, and that may draw the caution flag. Or they'll let them cycle past, and he can make it to pit road. Let's see.
Nope, he was having trouble with it running.
That's it, caution flag.
There's no way that thing can be out of gas, is there?
Larry?
I'm checking now, Mike, Clint.
Caution for Kyle Larson, whose car was slow.
Fuel.
Said it was barely running. Now he's got it refired.
Said he's out of fuel. He just said on the radio. And there's the fuel jug.
He's trying to limp it into the pits.
I'm out of fuel.
Wow.
Well, if he's out of fuel, what's the rest of them? What kind of shape are they in, Larry?
Yeah, Kyle Larson is out of fuel. Now, just all these caution laps. I know it's a quarter-mile racetrack, but all these caution laps we've run, just all the fuel's gone.
We've run 152 laps of green and 133 laps of caution, which doesn't count, but it certainly contributes to the fuel burn.
They must not have put the fuel in it.
Yeah, I mean, they should be able to. Larry would have to tell us the exact amount of laps that we think that they can run. Yeah, it should be somewhere around 300, isn't it, Larry?
come down to us. We're going to take a look at it.
On a half-mile racetrack like Bristol, you can run almost 175, and that's twice the distance as this. But I think you nailed it. These guys are more and more not filling it full of fuel because they don't want to wait.
Yeah, because running part throttle as we were for a whole lot of these green laps on a wet track wouldn't contribute that much to the fuel burn if you started with a full tank.
Well, I bet you it's weighing heavy on a lot of these crew chiefs' minds now. Are we next? And how do you calculate the fuel mileage for a track like this, and especially under, you know, caution conditions, and with the weather and the throttle response, everything you've done, you really haven't been putting the throttle down on a normal lap.
All right, let's listen to William Byron and team.
Yeah, I think that as many yells that we've run, we likely will run out as well. If they all do something, I don't know that everybody can make it.
Well, gasoline weighs 6.5 pounds per gallon. How much do you have to leave out to make a measurable difference in the way the car runs and handles?
Ooh, we're back to that math.
Well, no, the point to that is, though, that's a lot of weight, and it dictates the handling characteristics one way or another accordingly. So exactly what you said is why they're doing it. But we just heard from the 6th place car, his teammate Byron right there, they're thinking they're going to run out too. The question is, with this many laps left, why wouldn't you just bite the bullet and take the fuel now? Maybe they'll be the first one to it.
Well, I'm not sure you can. That's a question for Larry. Larry, could you pit now and add fuel?
You could, Mike. You could. Yeah. You can do normal pit stop procedure under caution, not lose a lap. The only thing you can't do is change tires.
Thank you. All right, it's Van Gisbergen and Preece once again. This has been a great show between these two. The veteran modified racer, the veteran road racer from down under. And boy, they battled hard, but battled clean on each of these restarts. The action's all been behind them.
Well, they battled clean for Bowman Gray.
Yes. Thanks for that qualifier.
Yeah.
You can see those track conditions right there in that shot. It's drying up even more and more. Kind of getting dull in that racing groove there. That's going to gain grip. Problem is that's the only line there is.
Here's Ryan Preece's radio.
Do you think we're going to run out? If we keep doing this, yeah, I do. And you
all right.
Data that says we're like 10 laps away, 5 laps away, away. I mean, we're probably getting better mileage. We're probably 20, 25 away.
Well, 25 away and 48 to go.
Boy,
Preece off the wall. And Van Gisbergen with the lead.
Got way heavy into the corner.
And you know, SVG knew he was going to go to his back bumper. He shallowed that entry up, so it put him underneath Ryan Preece going into the corner.
Van Gisbergen on offense retakes the lead. Preece trying to hold off Briscoe for second here. Briscoe gets into his left rear corner and up against the door.
That groove is definitely drying quickly. Clint, you're exactly right about that as you see them start to be able to creep down the racetrack a little bit.
It's going to be a track position game now. You need to do it as fast as possible. If you have a chance to get that clean air and get up front, you better do it quick.
So Preece into second, Briscoe third, Byron fourth, Suarez fifth, and for the lead, here comes Preece on the inside trying to use up Van Gisbergen. Wow.
Yeah, I think that 60 car is better than we think it is. He's been able to drive his way to the front and just retook the lead with authority right there.
And I think that the advantage that SVG had with his experience in the rain and his conditions is going by the wayside with the grip level in the racetrack. You can see the car just doesn't want to point in the middle of the corner anymore. He's kind of really slow in the entry. That tells me he's having trouble making a turn in the middle.
Well, team leader Brad Keselowski has got to be loving this from rehab, trying to get himself ready to run the Daytona 500 next week. Could not participate here, but here's one of his cars out front and leading and holding off Van Gisbergen and Briscoe.
See a little shot from the 19 car to the back of SVG there in 97, but going back to Ryan Preece, I would say that he was the lead performing car at RFK last year for the majority of the year. So this kind of goes right with the performance that they had last year.
Briscoe needs to make quick work of this. The more he goes, those little subtle nudges that would really break the cars loose and slide them up the racetrack is going by the wayside as the grip level in this track goes up.
40 laps to go.
See, now nobody's really slipping the tires anymore. Now it's taking a lot heavier shot and it's not getting him sideways. That's what the urgency that I was talking about.
And that's what happens with these rain tires. When the racetrack dries like this, they're soft enough, and as we heard Larry say, they're softer on the right side than what they had on. So the cars just get a lot of grip, and you're able to drive it like the racetrack is dry.
So Ryan Preece from RFK Racing leading as second places now side by side. Now next on Fox, an all-new episode of The Masked Singer, followed by an all-new episode of Fear Factor. Coming up after the break, our race coverage will switch to FS2, the Fox One and Fox Sports app for the remainder of the Clash at Bowman Gray, which has 36 laps to go. Ryan Preece leading Chase Briscoe, Daniel Suarez, Shane Van Gisbergen, and William Byron. The caution flag flies for Chase Elliott, who may also be out of gas. We'll see you over on FS2. The Masked Singer is next on Fox.
Up, grip level came in, and he's done a good job of, hey, it's beaten battered. Probably got a list of people that are mad at him, but
they're all beaten battered.
He's
at this
there.
Point.
Daniel Suarez racing for the Cal Ripken Senior Foundation. Number of charity initiatives on some of these cars for this exhibition race. The real season starts next week in Daytona, and we'll be there to bring you all the action beginning Wednesday. All right, 36 to go. Preece and Briscoe on the front row. Suarez with Van Gisbergen. And boy, the outside lane got going in a hurry.
Well, I think moreover, the inside lane didn't get going. Briscoe spun the tires on the bottom, stacked that lineup big time, Kev.
Hey, here comes Blaney. He's back in the show. Oh, no! Van Gisbergen around. Oh, heavy damage to Bubba Wallace.
Are you down here, begin?
And Suarez up here on the front stretch, he's all tore up.
That did not end well, and again, turns 3 and 4.
I hate to say this, but that all started with Briscoe not getting a good jump on the start.
Let's have a look here. Backstretch. Briscoe just didn't turn.
I think he had some help from behind too, but it started even on the backstretch. No, he didn't. Again, kind of making up for that poor launch on the restart. No, he didn't have any help from the back.
Yeah, he just drove into too hard.
Yep.
And both the Trackhouse cars go spinning. Van Gisbergen and Zilich.
Yeah, and you saw the blue smoke off the tires right there. So that groove is dry up there, and that's the interesting part about wet weather racing. Like we don't have a lack of grip or anything like that. You know, these guys are just being super aggressive, and
that was just simply a mistake. That's all on the 19. Again, I think he was trying to make up for the bad restart and got in way too hard and unfortunately wiped SVG out. That was a bad one.
Well, from the grandstand, I saw a few angry birds thrown in his direction. That is also a staple of racing here at Bowman Gray. Usually it's the Jim Brown fans versus the Burt Myers fans or whatever. A little different here tonight. As Tyler Reddick gets service in the pit.
It's been a tough weekend on these crew members, everybody involved. You can see their breath. It's cold out there, folks. These guys have been out in it all day long working on these race cars, preparing them for this event.
And the way we know how cold it is out there is no more weepers. Not since we ran the LCQ have we had any problem with melted snow coming out from under the outside wall. Just has not been an issue because it's freezing out there.
Yeah. Well, we've definitely battled a lot of elements here on a Wednesday. Wet racetrack. Well, it's dry now.
It's not over.
No.
That's pretty dry. I don't know if I mean roll off into turn 1 way down on the bottom against the concrete. That area still looks pretty damp.
Yeah, I think that bottom lane is still wet, but from the, you know, that one lane all the way almost to the wall, 3 or 4 feet from the wall, it's dry.
Well, most of those cars are not as pretty as how they started the day here.
This is what you were talking about right here. You can see where that middle to outside line is really buffering. It kind of dull, if you will. That bottom's still shiny slick. And that's why you see when they shoot the bottom, they start sliding, lose the front, lose the rear, and that's when the 8 tires turn better than 4 start happening. As this picks up, Kevin, walk me through these cars not having stagger. We know that they made adjustments accordingly because of these tires. But as the grip level picks up in this track and it's no longer wet, what happens?
Well, the car gets tight, or it just loses all the rear grip. And once those treads get worn out, and the car will feel like something in the back end is broke. I don't think we're definitely not to that point yet, but it'll go off like a light switch when it finally does.
What's interesting about a wet weather tire, when you have tread blocks like this, it's kind of like a razor blade, and it's not the depth of the tread. That doesn't determine traction. It's how sharp that edge is on the corner of each of those tread blocks, kind of like a razor blade. When it's sharp, it works really well. And once it gets dull, not so much.
One of the things I want to go back to, more importantly, is the stagger that we're talking about. It's not a grip thing, it's a balance thing. Those things don't want to turn. You need that stagger, the right side tires being taller than the left side tires. That helps it roll through the corner. And when you take that away, it's the balance of the car that goes to the front, and they do not want to turn.
And the drier it gets, the worse the tight gets.
Definitely not a grip thing with that. It's a balance issue.
Have you ridden a snowmobile?
Yeah.
When you get the throttle, it goes straight. And that's what happens when you don't have any stagger. You hit the throttle, it's going to want to go straight. It's not going to want to turn at all, is it?
You ever rode a snowmobile?
I rode one once. I wasn't very good at it.
Possibly more fuel issues here.
All right, NASCAR has determined that the cars will be allowed to leave the track to refuel with 35 laps to go. Now, everyone is on the lead lap with the possible exception of Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott. Now, this will be fuel only, no adjustments permitted, just so we can get to the checkered flag. Is that Richard Childress, I believe? There in the camo, it is.
That man's seen a lot of things here over the years.
You know, I was down in Welcome this week. Mike Verlander invited me down to tour that operation. And Richard Childress, unlike Roger Penske, Rick Hendrick, they have car dealerships, they have other business interests. Richard is all in on racing. And that whole campus in Welcome is dedicated to racing and fabrication in one way or another. They've got their own engine company. They've got their own valve spring company, and you wouldn't believe all the teams and all the forms of racing they supply. They do some government work I can't tell you any more about, but it's very, very cool how he has built an empire. And for a guy who started here at age 14 slinging bags of peanuts in the grandstand of Bowman Gray, I'd say that's quite an accomplishment.
Well, I don't know why all empires work, but I know why that one works. Kevin and I have both been there. My dirt shops were there. I was there earlier in the morning. I was there late at night. And there was only one common denominator you always saw in the parking lot. It was a black Tahoe in there. It didn't matter if it was 5:30 in the morning or 10:30 at night. Richard Childress was there working.
That looks like a slick tire to me, Mike.
Good point. I think we're going to let this track dry out. Move back to the slicks. Now we're going to need more adjustments, right?
Oh, wait a second.
Now, I thought we were stopping for fuel only. Let's double check here. Now, it looks like they might be.
And NASCAR down in the garage is telling us we have to go back to wet.
Yeah. They're going to put the wet weather tires back on. Regan?
Well, Mike, just to update you with what you're seeing on the 77 car right now, they actually came in and put slick tires on. The problem with that is you are not allowed to put slick tires on these cars right now because the track has not been deemed a dry racetrack by NASCAR. So then we saw the 45 car come in. They tried to do the same thing after they saw the 77 car do it. NASCAR would not allow them to put the slick tires on. Now the 77 is actually having to change back to the rain tires right now. So a little bit of confusion down here as to what was going on. That is all on top of the fact that now we're down here to get fuel for all the race cars that need the fuel to get to the end of the race. So a lot of craziness happening back here on the outside of the madhouse in the pits.
So Regan, let me take this one step further. Do they have to put the wet weather tires that were on the car back on the car, since our understanding is this stop is for fuel only?
Yeah, and that's a great question, Mike, and I'm going to have to confirm that because I am not positive which set just went back on the car. I do believe it's the set that came off, but we'll have to get confirmation on that.
I think it has to be. I think you have to put the same tire. You weren't supposed to take them off. You're supposed to put fuel in it.
Yeah, and that in itself could be a penalty just because you changed the tires.
That car's already had enough penalty.
Doesn't look as pretty as it did at the start of the day. The fans here, they are a hardy bunch. You notice they are dressed for any and all kinds of weather. They had makeshift ponchos come out when the sleet started earlier, and they are gonna watch this to conclusion as we and you are with 35 laps to go.
Well, it's been a battle. And, you know, I think our biggest concern when we started this whole thing was whether the rain tires would have the grip. Felt pretty confident that they would figure it out. But it's turned into a bit of a destruction derby as we've gone through the race with them running each other over. It hasn't been the grip in the tires, that's for sure.
Now we have a lot of programming coming at you from Daytona next week, and here is a special you're going to want to see. Here's a look at We Lost Dale Earnhardt 25 years later, a powerful new original documentary about the race that forever changed NASCAR and American motorsports.
Pressbox, can you hear me?
Yes. Okay.
Well, how do you tell the world that we lost Dale Earnhardt today?
One of Dale's very best friends was Mike Hilton.
This is undoubtedly one of the toughest announcements that I've ever personally had to make.
And those words flew across the world.
We've lost Dale Earnhardt.
I'm a rookie at Daytona 500.
I was 8 years old.
Fox hired me.
We were all there.
Malcolm in the Middle had premiered. I was probably one of the last people to talk to Dale Earnhardt the day he died.
The badass of all badasses.
Dale Earnhardt takes the checkered flag. It's what Carla asked.
All of us were lost puppies without an owner.
You remember what life was like before that day, and you remember what life has been like after that day.
Now, this show is not about the race, the first one on Fox, not about the crash, not about the telecast. It's about what we lost. And I want you to tune in to see we've lost Dale Earnhardt 25 years later, Thursday, February 12th, following the duel at Daytona on FS1.
Well, it's certainly a story that just can't be told enough. The impact that he made on everybody's life. You didn't have to be a NASCAR fan. You knew who Dale Earnhardt was, and you wanted to be Dale Earnhardt.
Absolutely, yeah. And, you know, I got to live pretty close to that whole scenario, so it was definitely a very interesting time to see all the changes and things that happen in the sport.
I think if you watch this show, you're going to see a lot of Dale Earnhardt's personality. There are a lot of great clips in this show, and I think at the end of the show, you'll understand why he was so loved and why he is so missed, and why in the wake of that tragedy, a lot of folks said, I'm done. He's my driver. That's it. I don't know how I could replace him. Anyway, give it a listen, give it a look, see what you think. It's a very interesting show. And
well, you can't replace him, but if you're on this racetrack, you want to race just like him. And that's a fact. Every aspiring driver, kid growing up, that's the benchmark. That's what you want to be.
35 to go. Everybody has fuel to go the distance now.
What we got, Kevin? What are you thinking?
Well, it's been rough. You know, as far as the physical nature of the style of racing, I think when that groove moved up the racetrack, and the cars are a lot more on edge when the track was wet, but the track's dry where they've been running. It's not dry in the preferred dry groove, and you're still on the old rain tires. So it'll be interesting to see if we can keep this thing, get it into a rhythm. We hadn't been able to find a rhythm with all the cars running out of gas and people getting spun out, but it is definitely a different racetrack than when they started with these rain tires on them.
Now, pit stops here are non-competitive, which means they line back up in the order they were running at the time of the caution after getting fuel. So Ryan Preece, Chase Briscoe will get to go at it again. Then Daniel Suarez, Ryan Blaney, Austin Dillon, who did not make the Clash last year, didn't transfer from the LCQ, his home, less than 20 minutes away. This is Austin Dillon's home track, and he said, I'm coming. I want to win this thing.
What we got?
Here he is.
Obviously, we're told no adjustments there, Kevin. No air pressure, nothing was done onto these race cars, but they filled them full of fuel. That is a lot of weight that we were just talking about. That is going to affect the handling on these race cars. They're cooled off. The track is drying out. What do you expect for the handling characteristics for these guys?
Well, it's going to turn into a dry style of race in the way that you drive, and it's going to come down to who can keep those tires on the race car, because as we were talking earlier about those rain tires, what happens is they start to feather off on the right side tires, and then those notches and things that are built in to have those sharp edges, they feather off and then they don't work very well.
Well, I'm starting to see dry patches in this racetrack along the front straightaway and toward the entrance to turn one, up in what we would call the third groove. This track is drying.
To the point, Larry, did you see any tire wear down there? Were you able to see any of that, Regan?
Clint, it's one of the reasons I went to the garage area right there. A lot of the crew chiefs, their engineers, their car chiefs were checking tire wear. I think because we've not run any long green runs, that's helped it, because you don't have near the tread patch with a treaded tire that you do a dry slick. but I just think they've had a chance to cool down. But I'm going to tell you, I'm with you guys. That dry area, that will wear these rain tires out.
Get your cheese grater out. And it's drying out. I mean, it's all but just gray right there where the right side tires are running. Pretty much dry.
And so the dilemma becomes, you know that you can make way more speed in that dry line, but how much speed do you make before the tire wears out?
Or how much speed do you lose
when the tire wears out?
In this other groove.
Yeah.
Your groove's about a car width and a half wide, not 2 car widths yet.
Carson Hocevar has been penalized for the unapproved tire change. I don't know what the penalty is. We don't have timeout here.
Yeah.
I'd tail into the longest line if I was guessing. That's where he is, and I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Okay. Still on the lead lap in 21st. So he will tag the field as we get ready to go back to green in 1 lap. This will be interesting because as the track is drying, it will accelerate the wear on these soft, wet weather tires, and that may bring a whole different aspect into play here.
Well, it just, as this track dries and evolves and changes, then the groove becomes different. How hard you can drive it becomes different. When you can get to the throttle becomes different. So it's that evolution and who can adapt to it first. And we're about to find out because it is drying rapidly.
Never have we seen this many different characteristics in one race. There's Blaney up to 6th in the 3rd row with Dillon, and here we go.
There's some cars here that are back in this thing because of all the carnage that we've seen, and Blaney's one of them.
Suarez up for 3rd off turn 2. 4th is side by side. Byron inside Blaney. Dillon looking in.
Yeah, and as this track has dried out, obviously Ryan Blaney has become better and better. 3 cars got him jacked sideways right there.
And Dillon moves to 5th, and Blaney boots him into turn 3. Up he goes, and that position changes and more.
Yeah, and that's
Bowman Gray.
That's Bowman Gray. That's the best way to put it.
Busher gets by Dillon before he can recover. And now he is ahead of Hamlin and Chastain side by side.
You don't need to stopwatch. You can visibly see these cars and how much faster they're going. The entry speed, the center corner speed, everything's picked up in a big way.
Yeah, and right now they're only a second off of what the fastest lap of the day was, running up 2 lanes on the racetrack on rain tires. So, you know, the speed of the racetrack is definitely there, but the speed of that 60 car out front is noticeable on the stopwatch. I mean, it's a 10th, a little less than a 10th pretty much every lap right now. It's just a matter of whether the tires are off of them.
Suarez to the inside of Briscoe, and he's gone.
He took it out, the words out of my mouth. I couldn't say it fast enough. Briscoe was the one that was holding them up.
Byron with him. Blaney looking.
You see that 24 car just right on that left rear bumper cover going into the corner right here. Suarez wants to keep him pinched down as much as possible to try to put those left side tires in the wet, but it's not going to work this time.
Now you want your right side tires right in that gray strip, and if you can push them up above it just at least a little bit, it jumps them over the cushion and they slide.
And that's the wild evolution of wet weather racing. As the track dries and the tires wear out, there's just every single lap there's something different on the racetrack.
Briscoe and Blaney move up. Suarez drops back to 5th.
Yeah, and we saw Ryan Preece take off, and you see right there the 24 car. That lap was almost 2.5 tenths faster than Ryan Preece. So right now, Preece took off really well, but that 24 car is coming
in a hurry. There's another one, a 46 to a 61 of Preece.
Yeah, and watch this line right here. You see them both up the racetrack on this end, but on the other end, Byron appears to be able to run just about a half a lane lower.
25 to go.
Didn't do it that lap.
Yeah, it's almost like he's putting his right side tires in the gray and not trying to straddle it as much like Preece is doing it in the lead. So you can see Preece is up higher than him.
And some of that just goes right back to the fact of how your car is turning. And the other part is searching around. and being able to go in a little bit straighter, get that thing rotated in the middle of the corner, and drive it up off a little bit lower.
Maximize grip, minimize wear.
Talk about rotation. This 12 car is right back to where we were when we had the slicks on.
We had written him off, Clint. He was in the back almost last.
But look how it's rolling in the middle of the corner is my point. That's back to his strong suit.
Clear all the way.
Oh, Briscoe back under, but no. Blaney has the drive off.
Well, the laps are clicking off really, really rapidly right here. We're coming back to 21 laps to go, so it's not going to take long now that they've calmed down, spread themselves out. But as this thing goes on, our leaders are going to catch the back of this field again.
That's exactly right. The way we've got them spread out, I think you might see the leaders finally catch tail end of the lead lap here.
Preece has picked up the pace. The last 2 laps he was, turn 3, Hocevar. Remember what I said about paybacks?
Yep.
You'll see contact from the 23 to the 77.
Well, the last time around off of 4, you see contact with the 77, the 23. This went on for about a lap.
A little rub and bump there.
Bubba didn't like it. Retaliated. Finished it.
In the middle of the straightaway.
I've seen a lot of wrecks like that here. Slide through the grass up into the outside wall. That one didn't make it all the way to the outside wall.
20 to go.
I don't think Ryan Preece wanted to see that. I don't know, it may have helped him. As I say that, not catching the tail end of the lead lap there again and getting in those lappers is beneficial to him being on the lead.
And I think, he's not going to catch the back of the pack now because of the fact that there's so few laps left. But the interesting part about what was happening right here, his lap times were really inconsistent. And I just wonder if he was trying to save some of the tire to make sure that he took care of the rear tires and front tires to keep the thing, that car underneath him as long as he could. And that was why his lap times were fluctuating.
I think so, Kevin, because once Byron closed the gap to about 5 car lengths, Preece took off, and he ran
right
a couple, went right back on pace and distanced him just a bit prior to the caution.
And that groove, he moved down as well. So the cars are now under the middle of the racetrack, and that wet lane on the bottom of the racetrack is, what do you think that is, Clint? 3 feet wide down there next to the curb. But if that becomes the case, they're going to creep all the way back down to the normal dry line as we get to the end of this.
It's certainly widened out. I don't know that it's going to be back down to the concrete on the bottom with only 20 laps to go, but the entrance of the corners are definitely getting drier, and that tells me they'll be able to run in side by side. But the point is, you're going to have to get aggressive here. I see aggression all night long out of Preece in the lead. You know he's going to be hungry for this win, and this 12 car, we've seen a lot of aggression out of him. He's been all over the place.
So well, William Byron, double Daytona 500 winner, will start alongside Ryan Preece with 20 to go.
Yeah, and as you watch it choose, and now you look at that front row, you see Preece pick the top of the racetrack. It's a little bit of a guess, in my opinion, as what the preferred lane is with how the bottom is starting to dry down the racetrack.
Just look at the cars, and I can tell you the difference in driving styles. Look at William Byron's car, and look at the 60 car, and look at the 12 car. If you had to describe a personality and the way a car looks, that's exactly what William Byron's car, and how he acts as a person.
Ryan Blaney's wrecked 3 times, and all the way at the back of the pack, and now he's in contention to win this race again.
And look at Alex Bowman, who started this race last. He's going to restart 6th. The last time Jack Roush won the Clash was 1999. Mark Martin went to victory lane. Ryan Preece trying to do just that, but he's got to hold off William Byron and more for 20 more laps around this flat quarter mile. Green flag.
Great start. Exactly what he needed. Massive launch.
Yeah, Preece has been pretty consistent about where he's taken off just as that nose reaches the restart zone every time.
Set sail, baby. Let's go.
Blaney gets past Byron, who wiggles coming out of 4. Car hard in the wall at the exit of turn 4 where that wall juts out, and it was Kyle Busch, and there was a lot of contact. And all torn up is Kyle Larson.
Well, it's amazing how fast these nights can turn on you. Kyle Larson led so many laps at the beginning of this race. Car kind of faded. Now he's turned around.
See, Kyle is way up there by the wall, and squeeze play right there.
Oh.
4 wide.
Yeah, that never works here.
I think the 54 car saw that 8 car in trouble and was Kyle kept coming up and the 54 was coming down, and then they started jumping tires.
Run out of real estate. For sure, in a hurry. You can see he got way up out of the groove and was trying to get it back going.
Yeah, and there was nowhere for Larson to go because he had a car below him, so
and whoever
too many
that
cars
was
in one spot.
Knocked Larson into the next car, into Kyle Busch. The next car being, I think, Ty Gibbs there. But, boy, there was enough contact there to go around.
If I'm Priest, I didn't want to see in my rearview mirror Blaney making as quick a work of the 24 car as he did.
Good point. Carson Hocevar, the only car 1 lap down, will get that back as the free pass car. 19 to go. What's for breakfast?
Oh, it's just now.
Breakfast.
It's just now bedtime.
Come on,
right?
old timer. It's 9:30.
Not even 9:30 yet. And you're worried about breakfast.
Well, hey, I got a laugh out of you anyway.
Yeah. I was confused for a second. I thought my phone had quit when you asked him breakfast.
No,
I was
that's
expecting to look down at midnight.
Yeah, we started at 6 o'clock. Not the usual night race here.
This is shaping up to be a wild finish. These two guys are extremely aggressive. They'll be starting right up front, right where we want them.
Right here, 3. Choose next time, 3rd in line.
I don't think there's hardly a car here that has not run at least 1 lap in the top 5. There's been, I don't think even Larry could keep track of all the comers and goers that we've had here tonight. And cars that have been a lap down and gotten their lap back, and now everybody's still in it.
Well, you definitely couldn't write a script for this one. It would definitely not. You would not believe the way that this race has played out.
You mean starting
like last
Saturday?
Yeah.
All right, they'll choose this time.
Oh, still got some debris on the racetrack right there. Looks like a piece of a fender.
At this point, I think it's just part of it.
Yeah.
Where does Blaney choose? Goes to the inside.
Had to think about it there for a second.
Got hard on it, didn't he?
The choose has been a lot more even tonight in the dry than I thought it would be. In the wet was when it became really staggered as to, you know, which lane they chose.
It was pretty even here last year, and last year's event was all run in the dry, and we didn't see a lot of gamesmanship like you often see here on Saturday nights. Going to hold up to pick up that debris inside of turn 4.
Well, if I'm Ryan Blaney's spotter right here, and I've been paying attention, that 60 car is taken off at the exact same time every time he has led this race. So you need to pay attention to that, because I think he's going to have to mix it up at some point, and he's saving that till the end, or he's going to take off at the exact same point that he's taken off every time that he's been leading.
Well, and where's that spot at? He can start any time in between those two lines, the restart zone. Pretty big zone here at this racetrack. There it is again, a little better view.
Yeah, and you see right there that top lane right here is a lot drier than the bottom lane, which allows him to do what he's been doing the last couple times and get a really strong launch.
17 caution flags. I probably don't have to tell you that is a clash record.
Boy, I've been in some clashes, and I know we're at Bowman Gray, and this can happen with a rough race, but I've been in some rough ones at Daytona with not many cars left running at the end.
Well, they're all running now, and all except, I believe, Hocevar on the lead lap as we get set for this restart. First time we've had 2 Fords on the front row tonight. Blaney inside of Ryan Priest with 19 to go. Priest launches and clears.
He clears him, but you saw Ryan Blaney, him squeezing Blaney down into that wetter part of the racetrack to try to make sure that he didn't get a good launch, and Blaney was leaning on him. They were smoking tires before they even got going.
3 wide out of turn 4. Austin Dillon forces the issue.
Yeah, Chris Buescher didn't like that.
Nope. Busher kind of paid the price. Bell in the outside wall after contact. Keeps digging. And for second place, here comes Byron again.
This is exactly what Ryan Preece wanted to see. Let them boys battle it out side by side back there. Slow them down. I'm going to drive off. William Byron got right back around him.
Briscoe fourth, Suarez fifth. And Hamlin and Bowman.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see that 12 car. I thought he was going to drive to the front and battle for the win, but after that cycle on the tires, not the case.
Did not take off very good whatsoever. Looks kind of loose still, a little light on his feet with the rear tires sliding around. You can tell he's being pretty gingerly with it, especially in the entry of the corner.
And we talked about it earlier. When these tires, when they decide to take a dive and are done from being worn out, it's just like the slicks. It's a light switch and happens fast.
And that may be the one issue that Ryan Preece has got to be battle. He's got to mind the gap, but he can't run through those tires or he'll lose the lead.
13 to go. Let's keep an eye on this right here, guys. Can he run him down?
Well, as we go, the speed in the racetrack is going to continue to pick up as the track dries, and you see Preece right there
matched him that time.
Matched his lap time, so
answered that call. Go to the whip, baby.
Well, it's hard to tell with him. I believe he looks in his mirror and tries to pace himself so he can take care of those tires.
I've seen it. He's moving down a little bit too. I think that spotter in his ears helping him with what line to run, and there's the lap time. Look at this. Bested his lap now. He moved down, found a little bit better grip, roll in the middle, getting back to the throttle, and drove back off.
10 to go.
Yeah, he's definitely down the racetrack on the entry and the exit. Allows that car to wash up the racetrack and get a good drive up off the corner. But both ends now, he's moved that line down.
Found him a 10th, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Stretching it out.
And that's exactly what we've been talking about is...
Oh, Byron sent it in deep and almost got to the wall between 1 and 2 that time.
It's go time. He's out of time. He's trying everything he can do. Hail Marys.
And that'll be costly to William Byron. Now Preece's lead is almost a straightaway.
And that's when you start backing off a little bit, because you never know if the caution is going to come out again. What's going to happen at the end of this race?
And look who's right back in this race. Denny Hamlin. I thought he gave up. I thought it was a TKO punch. He is in 6th again. With a caution, he might have a chance. 7 to go.
Yeah, we've seen it all night. You're in the back. You're not out of it. You get in a crash. You're not out of it. This has been a battle of attrition all night long.
Ryan Preece got to take care of that Ford for 6 more laps.
Now he's managing his gap to these lappers. I don't want to catch those guys. I've got a good buffer. I want to listen to my spotter and just manage this gap. Well, bring it home, baby.
When you talk about Ryan Preece, this is a very, very intense guy, and he's won it everything that he's ever done. Took a chance on his career to go to Joe Gibbs Racing with some money that he borrowed and came up with to run, just a limited schedule. Went out and won races, proved himself.
Took out a big mortgage on his house to do it.
Here he is today, leading the first race of 2026 here at Bowman Gray.
Please stay green is what they're saying. 3 to go. Bring it home.
Brad Keselowski hired him. So what did you like about Ryan Preece? He's aggressive. He wants to win races, and we could afford him. Well, here we go. It's about to pay off. 3 laps.
Ryan loves to work on his own stuff. He's one of those guys that is very hands-on, and this is what he loves to do. He loves to race. Been around it, working on the cars, in the cars.
And here's the white flag. 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank. Half a straightaway lead on William Byron, who has 5 car lengths on Denny Hamlin. Off turn 4 at the Madhouse. The Cookout Clash goes to Ryan Preece for Roush, Fenway, Keselowski, and Ford. How about that? He joins Jeff Gordon and Denny Hamlin as winners of the Clash before winning a NASCAR Cup Cup Series point race.
He did a great job. He had speed in his race car when the time counted at the end of that thing, but I want to go back to the aggression that he maybe took off there in a burnout. Slow her down, buddy. But the aggression that he showed on those restarts when we went back to it under the wet weather was very, very aggressive. And it paid off for him, put him in the front when the time was right, and he drove off into the sunset because of it.
His grandfather, Bob Judkins, well-known modified car builder and owner in New England, started the Pinto revolution in NASCAR. His dad, Jeff, raced late models at Stafford Speedway and elsewhere, and I think Ryan Preece was born with maybe a steering wheel in his mouth. At a very, very young age, he was there racing those quarter midgets, worked his way up to the modifieds, won the national championship, and then, as Kevin pointed out, worked his way up to the top level of NASCAR, and now he's going to capture the checkered flag.